Hello. Hey, there we go. Happy Friday, everybody. Ben and Woods, it's 97.3 The Fan. Thanks for being here this morning on National Morning Show Hosts Day. Feels good to have our own special morning. I walked in, there's bagels in here, coffee, balloons, and streamers, and it's just great. Sack full of cash, some bonus money left over. It's just great. I really appreciate that, Adam and Michael and the rest of the crew here at Odyssey. You really made us feel special on our special day. It's good to be here. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rindle. Paulie can confirm none of that is in here this morning, not one thing.
I thought it was cool. Got off the elevator, just a bunch of people were here.
Just waiting. Just to say hi. Yeah, just
working.
Say hello. Yeah, man.
We are the only ones.
We're the only ones in the building. And our engineer, Mike, sweet angel, just had a baby yesterday. No, he didn't. One of his kids. His baby had a baby. He's a grandfather. Happy grandfather to you. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. Now, to be fair to everyone else who didn't set up a big celebration for us on Morning Show Host Day,
yeah,
you found out it was Morning Show Host Day literally
3 seconds.
3 seconds before you cracked the microphone.
Yeah, I didn't even know what I was going to say in the open, and then I looked down. I said, "Oh, it's Morning Show Host Day." So very, very exciting times for us. I'm a little run down. I don't know if you can tell. The voice is a little bit gone.
It's been one day.
It's not even really from that. Yesterday was a breeze with my kids. My wife went to Hawaii, and it was a breeze. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to be a jerk here when I say it's easier when it's just the three of us sometimes, because there is no one saying, okay, bath time, okay, let's wrap it up, bedtime. Like, we just go at our own leisure. We went down to Seaside Market yesterday when I picked the kids up from school. And it's nice because they can pick a couple things they like. And my 6-year-old really likes ribs a lot. And I don't know why. We're not a huge rib family. I'm not always in the backyard just like, all right, got another slab on the smoker. Like, I don't really know where he got his love of ribs, Ben and Paul, but
there's something primal about eating ribs that even probably a 6-year-old understands. I'm eating meat off of a bone.
Yeah. Well, don't forget,
They're also delicious.
Don't forget, Homeboy's got missing teeth, like a bunch of missing teeth in the front.
Ribs?
So I'm watching him last night, trying to wedge it in his back teeth. So he crushed some ribs.
He's just gumming them.
He's gumming ribs. Yeah. So he's got barbecue sauce all over his face. So it was great, man. We did that. We went out, played some hoops, and then from there.
What'd you have?
Well, I had Cardiff Crack.
You did?
Yeah,
okay.
I had a little tri-tip there from Seaside. Really, really good. Some mashed potatoes, phenomenal.
Plate, not sandwich.
Plate.
Nice.
Yeah, no sandwich, just the plate. And then Taylor had some little chicken nuggies, and we had a bunch of fruit. It was good, man. Got him in the shower. We watched some of the Padres game, and then I put them to bed, and they both were like, okay, Dada, and went right to bed. Didn't get up, didn't run around. They were a dream, a total dream. So it's just, you take one out of the equation. Maybe somebody that, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. This is hypothetical. Maybe somebody that's anxiety-ridden, obsessive-compulsive. You take that out at bedtime and playtime, you get a little bit more of a relaxed vibe around the Woods house. So that's exactly what we did. And it was cool. Now, that does not promise me that the next 4 days are going to be the same. But
is it possible, though, without that person, unnamed,
that
may be, that, yes, after a couple of days, it's nice as a change of pace, but after a week or so, that your life would fall apart completely without that help?
Well, there's no question, because I started walking around the house going, I know I forgot something.
Yeah.
I know I forgot. Forgot to feed the fish. Okay, yeah. Feed the fish. And then I'm like, litter box good? Had to go check the litter box is fine. So there's all these checklists that you have to do the whole time. And it's just there's a lot. She does a lot, man, around the house. The dishes. So my mother-in-law came over this morning to take the kids to school. So I was sweating it. I hadn't heard from her. I said, can you be here at 5? Yeah, 4:58. She's still not here. So I'm now planning the game of, I have to call Ben and Paul and say, all right, here are our options. I'll see you guys at 8, or can we set up my thing on this crappy Acer computer and we'll Zoom me in, which will sound like death? You do that, or I can get these kids up and bring them to work. My options were not great. And then she glides in the door, 5 o'clock on the nose, and I glide out, piece of cake. So, but yeah, it's an interesting one. I like that that we do have some Dodger fans coming in early to weigh in, which you should. You absolutely should. They're in the chat this morning. And listen, I get it. Your local radio station in L.A., they're not talking about the Dodgers. They'll give it a cursory mention, and then it's Rob Pelinka time, and it's Bronny James time. I looked at ESPN L.A. Twitter the other day. I saw 17 tweets in a row about Rob Pelinka, the summer league, starting rotations, the Bronny James shot that he made. They had Pelinka on as an interview, and they just went Lakers, 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 Lakers for 19 tweets. So I get why you're here. Let me try to be as honest as I can. Congratulations to the Dodgers on winning their 11th out of 12 years. 11 out of 12 years you won the National League West. Now, if I was from Poland and I moved here and I said, oh my God, these guys have won 11 out of 12 division titles. They must be sitting on stacked rings. What would you say? 4? At least 4?
Yeah.
All right, so you got 1. And you won it in a 60-game season. This is why I don't like Dodger fans. You haven't won anything yet. All right, relax. You win these all the time. This is nothing. I'd be so bored with winning division titles, especially if I won 11 out of 12. And I got really almost nothing to show for it. So, again, congratulations for a team that has 3 MVPs at the top of the order. You added Tyler Glasnow. You added Yamamoto for $300 million. You've got a lockdown bullpen, some of which you traded for. Congrats. I mean, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I will follow in the footsteps of manager Mike Schiltz, who last night tipped his cap to the Dodgers. I will tip my cap to their division-winning season. They played better against the Colorado Rockies and Los Angeles Angels than the Padres did.
That's exactly right.
That was the difference. I think I just counted it. 6 extra wins against the Rockies and the Angels that the Padres did not get, and that proved to be the difference in the end. They got the job done against the terrible teams, and the Padres, unfortunately, we all know, stubbed their toe against the Rockies and the Angels this year.
Well,
outside of that, Padres had the edge this year.
I was going to say, surely they beat, for all the lip
every
that they
other place,
run.
but yeah, we couldn't beat the Rockies, so yeah, you got us. You got us.
Congrats, guys. You know what's coming, though, here in a couple weeks. You know what's coming. I know what's coming. You know.
Well, it won't be the Dodgers' fault. They got to take a week off now.
Paulie, you're right. Winning the division is probably the worst thing they could do because you get that. Well, for them, you get that built-in excuse of, well, how are we supposed to, man? We had a week off. But
stupid format. The league's against us.
They played much better last night. They played much, much better. Much, much better. So it's, listen, you did what you're supposed to do. And you won the division after, we cut $92 million. The fact that it took you 159 games, hey, man, that's something else, too. But you guys will be fine. You'll be fine. You got the best players. Again, you look at that team and you go, holy crap, dude, that's 3 MVPs. 1, 2, 3. That's a cool thing to have, I bet. It's a really cool thing to have.
2 in a walking boot now.
Yeah,
2. It's fair. That's fair. 2 plus 1 in a walking boot. But October.
Learn how to tag first base the right way.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe you don't turn to the side, just run through it. I mean, we did a lesson with our little leaguers last week about that. But hey, man, listen. Congratulations. Something to beat your chest about. It's probably going to be the last thing you get to beat your chest about, though, this year. I think you guys know that. The starting pitching is going to be an issue from you. But I'll tell you, though, if their offense, which is pretty potent, if their offense can get 4 or 5 runs early, yeah, man, their bullpen's really good. Evan Phillips is good. Blake Trinan is good. Joe Kelly is whatever, but Kopech's really, really good. So, yeah, man, I think you guys, as usual, you have a shot. Will the top of your order hit? Probably for a Dodger fan, nice to see Mookie get after it. As I speculated yesterday, the Mookie Betts offer will not continue, and it didn't. So, again, you were able to kind of neutralize Shohei last night, but that's what the Dodgers can do. You've got Mookie Betts right behind you and Freddie Freeman behind him, and they're a dirty team. They're a nasty team. They do deserve respect, absolutely, but I would tap the brakes a little bit, beating my chest on 11 of 12, because you really only have one little 60 to show for it. So I think, you do have a shot to win the World Series. In fact, you're the favorites. So I would expect if you're the World Series favorites, you would be the favorites to win the NL West, too. That would just make sense to me. But anyway, congratulations. You guys have, you earned it. You absolutely earned it this year. And built, not bought, certainly. And congrats. Congrats. And thanks for being on our chat today. We needed the numbers, frankly.
I remember those days of hearing about these young up-and-coming prospects in the Dodgers system, like Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Tyler Glasnow.
Yeah, hot.
I mean,
hot prospects.
Built, not bought.
We're driving them crazy right now. And that's the goal. We like to have fun in here, guys. Come on. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Will they turn into pumpkins, or will they go out and complete the mission at hand? I mean, look, we played them 3 games, and I thought, man, I'm telling you, save an inning here or there. And listen, and I saw a lot of, you guys got lucky with the triple play. Yeah, you're probably right. Takes some skill there, certainly. Takes some skill to achieve that play. But holy smokes. Not the best couple of games for the San Diego Padres, but I think there's a lot of bright spots still about this team. I don't think there's any reason to go doom and gloom. And you're still playing October baseball. You're playing October baseball. It starts Tuesday. We just don't know where yet.
We talked about it a lot for the last couple of days. Tuesday night, you punch your ticket into the postseason.
Yeah.
From here on out, it's essentially you're playing around. You're finding what works, what didn't. You're able to learn from these experiences without having a brutal penalty of a playoff loss. Like the last 2 nights would have been awful. It would have been detrimental if you were in the playoffs and you're down, say, 2-1 in a best-of-5 series.
Oh, yeah.
But now you're learning. Mike Schilt is learning. The coaching staff is learning. The players are learning.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we won't be doing.
Correct. And that's the fun part about getting into some of the strategy that was deployed last night. And, listen, if you want me to come in here and rip Mike Schilt this morning, I'm probably not going to. I didn't really disagree with many of his moves last night. Obviously, when guys don't execute that traditionally execute, you're left in a little bit of a bind. And I'd like to encourage everyone too, if you take the gift of hindsight out of it and really try to play it through the way that Mike Schilt was doing it in real time, I think you'll probably see that, just got away from us, right? One of those. You can't say it every time. You can't. Of course, there's going to be. I never see Schilte get caught flat-footed. Do you guys? Do you ever see him get maybe once or twice this year, which is going to happen when 162? But like Dave Roberts the other night with that bunt, and when he took it off, and then Rojas hitting the triple play, his comments after the game, you go, bro, you just got caught flat-footed. Like you're flat-footed. You don't mean what you're saying. I really never hear that from Schilt. Does he always make the right move? Obviously not. But I thought last night, letting Joe go, all that, we can get into it. But there's a lot of strategy last night. The execution was poor.
We definitely have some stuff to talk about.
What about Rob Pelinka, though? Are we going to touch on Rob Pelinka?
I want to add, and
Rams and Bears this weekend.
And before we take our first break, I do want to add that the Padres played well enough to get us at least thinking about, passing the Dodgers. Ultimately, they would have needed to win 14 of their last 15 and last 10 in a row to win the division. That's not something that anyone should have ever expected or should be disappointed that they didn't do. Yes, they're not going to end up winning their last 10 in a row and 14 out of 15 to take the division. It's not an indictment on the San Diego Padres that they couldn't get that done. So if we gave you the hope that they could because they had been playing so well, maybe we are partly responsible for some of the disappointment you're feeling, but there's really nothing to be disappointed. They clinched a playoff spot. They still can very easily clinch home field in the wild card round this weekend, and we will tell you exactly what they need to do that when we come back, set the menu, and get you ready for a Friday show that includes a Hall of Famer. And I will just leave it at that, and we will come back. We'll check Kelly's traffic, and it's also National Corned Beef Hash Day, which I love. And I don't see any corned beef hash
absolutely
either,
repugnant.
Which is next on San Diego's
Hug a Vegetarian Day, which won't be happening in here.
Not at all. On San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, here we go.
Black 17 on.
That is my number.
All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, here we go.
Black 17 on.
That is my number.
All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, scenarios. Still clinching scenarios available for your San Diego Padres. Obviously, the NL West is not in play anymore, but Padres would still very much like to clinch a home playoff series in the wild card round. What do they need to do that? Woods, it's pretty simple. You have to win at least one game against the Arizona Diamondbacks. That is a must, because if the Diamondbacks won all three, they would move into a tie with the Padres, and they would have the tiebreaker. They're 3 games behind the Padres going into this series. Would have been nice. You could have wrapped that up with a win in either of the last 2 days, but the Diamondbacks still have that glimmer of a hope of sweeping the Padres. They could actually pass them, or at least tie them and own the tiebreaker. So you have to win one game in your last 3.
If you want to play at home on Tuesday.
Now, you also have to finish ahead of the Mets. If you only win one game, you need the Mets to lose once as well. Now, they have 5 games left, 3 against the Brewers and 2 against the Atlanta Braves on Monday. So if you win 1, the Mets would need to lose 1 of those 5. If you win 2, doesn't matter what the Mets do. They could win all 5 games. If you win this series, you're also absolutely guaranteed to host a wild card playoff series next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, if necessary.
Win 2 out
at
of 3.
Petco Park. So 2 out of 3 definitely gets it done. 1 out of 3
with some help
very likely gets it done unless the Mets go 5-0.
One thing that you can absolutely say about this last 3 weeks, a month, the Padres have had zero help. I mean, almost zero help from any of the other teams. So it does feel like they're going to have to kind of do it themselves. And you want to take all those weird, chaotic things out of it. And the way that you can do that is by beating an Arizona Diamondbacks team 2 out of 3.
Yeah, the one team they have gotten some help from is actually the Diamondbacks, who have gone 6-7 in their last 13, 12-13 in their last 25. They've been a sub 500 team for the past month. After being really hot since the All-Star break, they've cooled off considerably, more than any of the other playoff contenders, really. So you just got to go in and make sure you take care of business here. I think 1's enough. The question is, if you get 1, how strongly are you going after the other 2 when you want to, maybe get some guys some rest? You don't want to use Michael King on Saturday or Sunday. And the Padres did announce a change.
Just going to say,
in their rotation. So
are they going for that 1 win tonight?
Absolutely. So, yes, Yu Darvish has been moved up and will start tonight's series opener instead of Martin Perez, whose turn it would have been in the rotation. So it'll be Yu Darvish against Merrill Kelly in the series opener tonight at 6:40. And then the Padres have just said it's TBD the next 2 days. I mean, theoretically, if the Padres win today and the Mets lose in Milwaukee, I think it's Sean Manaea against Frankie Montas. Padres will have clinched the home field, and there will be nothing else that they can clinch, so they can do whatever they want in the last 2. I would imagine Martin Perez may pitch. You may call someone up. You may have back of a bullpen sort of day. Just get everyone the work that they need. But neither of those games will have any impact on your playoff chances. If you win today and the Mets lose, it's over. There's nothing left to play for this weekend. Now, if you lose or if the Mets win, then you'll go into Saturday needing, you could reduce your magic number to 1 for that clinching, and then you figure out how you want to play it the last 2 days of the season.
Craig Elston said on the roundtable yesterday, I think he's been saying it on his show too, that this is just the fun week. It doesn't feel very fun. I'm not having a lot of fun right now. And yes, you're in the dance, right? You are playing October baseball. You do want those games at home. Certainly we do. We want those games at home. Makes it easier for everyone. A lot more fun. Get down there and go do some live appearances and things like that. But this isn't fun at all. It's not even fun a little bit right now. Losing those last 2 to the Dodgers is not fun. And really the way that you lost, I think both of those games was terrible. Just kind of unraveled in 1 inning. And now you look at it and go, all right, well, the Diamondbacks see a little bit of light. You gave them a little bit of light. That's not fun. This is not fun. There's nothing fun about it. Thinking about if we lost tonight to Merrill Kelly, who's been really good. You were reading me some of his numbers earlier. It's not great. Then tomorrow you got to rejigger again. You got 2 games left. You're gonna have to find a way to win one of those. Mets are very hungry. This isn't fun. There's nothing fun about this.
I need a vintage Yu Darvish start. I need a win tonight. I need a Mets loss, and then I want half the team flying home on Saturday morning to San Diego to get ready for Tuesday, and just call up some guys from Peoria over to downtown, head into Chase Field. You're making your major league debut, guys.
I need a Tyler Wade start at short, like I need air. I need to see Nick Ahmed with some ABs.
Brandon Lockridge
starting in center
a lot this weekend if things go
That's
well.
That's what you wanted, man.
For the Padres. So we'll talk about that more obviously as the show goes on. Coming up next, though, in our Padres wrap-up, we will – there are –
You guys having fun? Is it fun?
Let's talk about what's the –
No, the playoffs aren't fun.
No, it's not fun.
What's the legitimate level of concern over the Padres offense right now?
A lot.
We definitely can talk about that coming up in our Padres wrap-up and what went wrong in last night's game against the Dodgers. 7 o'clock hour, we've got Take on Woods and Don't Do This. 8 o'clock, it is Jordan Schusterman time from Cespedes Family Barbecue, their weekly segment. We'll talk to Jordan as the, it's kind of awards season. The Padres making a really aggressive offensive for Jackson Merrill as the votes are now coming in from writers around the country on Rookie of the Year. They want that. You can tell by what they did yesterday. So we'll talk with Jordan Schusterman, Ryle report, and then at 9 o'clock, in lieu of our manager's report with Mike Schilt. We've given Mike Schilt the day off because they had a very late arrival, early this morning, actually, in Arizona after the game last night. So
Let's be honest with our audience. We did not give Mike Schilt the day off.
No.
Mike Schilt called the day off.
no, well, he's actually going to be on later. He's
He
going to
is.
be on with Tony Gwynn Jr. in the afternoon.
What he did is he switched his shift. We've all worked jobs where he said, "Hey man, can you cover mornings for me? I got to work the afternoon." Oh yeah, no problem. I'll switch with you. So we switched. He switched shifts.
We have a good reliever coming in to substitute
Yeah.
for him at 9 o'clock, though.
Yes, we do.
A Hall of Fame reliever.
Like one of the best to ever do it.
Trevor Hoffman is going to be with us at 9 o'clock this morning, so definitely looking forward to that.
I couldn't be happier. Earlier in the week, I'd said to Paulie, man, with all the discourse going on about the closer's role with the San Diego Padres, let's get Hoffy on the phone. And, we got Schilt on Friday. We don't know if we can get them both. Well, then Schilt had to switch to the afternoon, and we said, we got to get Hoffy now. So we can talk to him about some of the closer discourse. Again, man, decent little tease going into the next break. Be careful what you wish for. Padres fans, be careful with the knee-jerk reactions. Be careful what you wish for because you got a little taste of it last night. And there's no concrete way to manage a bullpen. There's just not. Unless you have the benefit of 20/20 hindsight. Then we're all Bruce Bochy at that point.
Or maybe it was one day, get it out of your system, and then get right back to what you had been doing.
Correct.
Because at some point, every reliever is going to have a hiccup. Every single one of them. Much rather it happen this week than next week.
No doubt.
All right, before we go, how about a little, everyone feels like drinking this morning, right? How about an early giveaway for our Tier 1s who are up in the 6 a.m. hour? We got our last pair of La Mesa Oktoberfest VIP tickets to give away. Hofbrauhaus VIP tickets for Saturday or Sunday, October 6th. It is a free event, but if you want the VIP tickets, you can buy them at lamesaoktoberfest.org, or you can win them right now. Let's just give them to the third caller. 833-288-0973. Reward you for getting up early with Ben and Woods. Check out the La Mesa Oktoberfest October 4th through the 6th with kids and dog activities, beer gardens, and those VIP tickets available for purchase. And we'll come back with our Padres wrap-up right after this on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Usually we play a real or fake on Throwback Thursdays, but I kind of want to incorporate real or fake into our discussion here. Like real concern or fake concern about the San Diego Padres after the last 2 days as we go through starting pitching, bullpen, offense, specific players and their struggles right now. We will take a deeper look at what the Padres have gone through recently, not just the last couple of days, but going over the last week or so, Woods. There's definitely the offense hasn't done what it was doing earlier in the season. So we will get into that. We'll give you some quick highlights here in our Padres wrap-up and then talk about it all after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Kearney Mesa VW. Couple of problems in the North County. Crash on southbound 15 before Old Highway 395. It's in the Center Divide. And that crash that was touched off by a mattress that some idiot dropped in lanes. East 78 before Sycamore. Why, that's clear. Heading out of the South Bay, northbound side of the 5 before Mile of Cars Way, we have reports of a stalled car in the Center Divide. Batter up San Diego. Kearney Mesa Volkswagen's pitching unbeatable deals. Score a 2024 Tiguan S for $259 per month or a Jetta S sedan for just $179. It's a home run for your wallet. Find your ultimate VW at VW@KearneyMesa.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
Oh, a shame indeed.
It's a complete crap.
Oh, I did not like that.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
Are you kidding me?
Boo.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
We'll give it 16 minutes of salt, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
It's not your fault.
Tony kind of goes without saying. Curveball popped up behind second base. Cronenworth back onto the outfield grass. He'll make the catch. That one is a no-brainer. Scoreless bottom of the first inning for Joe Musgrove. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And Arise bounces into first base. Freeman is back. His only play is the underhand flip to Buehler. It is in time. Peralta comes in to score, and the Padres take a 1-0 lead. 1-1, swung on, sent in the air to right center field. Going back into the gap, Pages. The center fielder will make the catch. Profar tagging on his way. The throw going to go to third. Manny slides in there safely. A sacrifice fly for Bogarts, and a 2-0 Padre lead. 1-2, swung on and missed. Strike 3. 6 shutout innings for Joe Musgrove. No runs ahead. Ohtani left at third. Musgrove is set. Here's the pitch. Smith swings, sends it in the air, deep to center field. Merrill's going back on the track, at the wall, looking up, gonna go. Home run to center field for Will Smith. A 2-run game-tying shot here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1-0 pitch. Shohei, ground ball right side. Arise dives, can't get it. It's into right field. Hernandez rounding third. He's going to score. Tatis's throw goes into third. It gets beyond Machado. That will allow Ohtani to take second base. The Dodgers have gone ahead for the first time tonight. It's 3-2. 1-1. Bat swings, lines it into right center. That's a base hit. Pages has scored. Ohtani's on his way. This time, Fernando's throw bounces into second base. A 2-run single for Mookie Betts. And just like that, the Dodger lead is 5-2. Owing is set. Now the pitch. Pages swings, hits it in the air. Deep to left field. Towards the pole. Way back. Gonna go. Long home run to left for Andy Pages. A 2-run dagger in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it's 7-2. 0-2 to Higashioka. Kopech is ready. He'll deliver. And it is swung on and popped up. Shallow right field. Chris Taylor back. The second baseman on the outfield grass has got it. And the ball game is over. For the 11th time in the last 12 years, the Dodgers win the National League West. They will have a bye into the National League Division Series, and we will see if we will see them again here in 2024. Padres had a 2-0 lead, and LA scored 7 unanswered late to win the game 7-2 and clinch the National League West.
Very disappointed. You know, that's the goal we set out for. You know, clearly put a good run at it. Finished, you know, with 4 games remaining, you know, to have a chance at it, and came up short, and we move on.
Yes, we do.
Let me start with the easiest real or fake of this discussion. Real or fake? Mike Schultz should have taken Joe Musgrove out after his really great 6 innings and not let him go back to start the 7th.
Absolutely fake.
I saw that.
On.
I saw that take out there.
Oh.
Like, how could you let Joe go back out there for the 7th? How could you not?
How could you not?
I would have been screaming at my television had he taken Joe out after 6 innings, 70 pitches, as good as he looked.
Hey, and by the way, if you go into, or when you go into a postseason series and that exact same situation presents itself, but your bullpen's maybe a little bit more rested, you got them some rest in Arizona, they're a little bit more fresh, I'd probably still let Joe go out and start it. Now, I may pull him after the leadoff walk. Maybe in a playoff game, I may pull him after a leadoff walk.
I probably don't. I mean, it was a nasty curveball. Muncy took it. It was an inch inside on the 3-2 pitch. He got ahead of Muncy.
Yeah, just
couldn't finish him off. You know, Max Muncy, for as much as we probably all universally dislike him, gets his walks.
Yeah, good AB.
The guy gets his walks, and Joe is just unable to finish him off. And then falling behind Will Smith was really the kiss of death there. The 3-1 count. You can't walk 2 guys in a row, so he had to come in, likely with a fastball, and Will Smith knew it, was hunting it, and didn't miss it. And obviously that changed the game considerably. Joe got the next out, and then he was taken out of the game. Still an outstanding performance by Joe Musgrove yesterday.
You hate it. You hate it for him because he pitched really well enough to win that ball game. But again, the offense did not really come through last night. That's where my concern kind of lies. And, you know what I'm going to talk about. I got 40 tweets about it right when it happened. And, yes, they got a run out of the Jackson Merrill sacrifice bunt, but I don't want Jackson Merrill dropping down a sacrifice in the 6th inning against a very prolific offense who is capable of putting up, let me see, at least 5 runs in an inning. I'm not playing for 1 there, maybe 2. I'm especially not playing for 1 there, maybe 2 with Xander Bogaerts coming up behind. I realize that he's had a couple of RBIs this series, but I'd rather have Jackson Merrill hit a ball into the gap and score both of those runs and then be in scoring position and potentially have a bigger inning. We got 1 run there. So I guess I can't say much because we did get the 1 run. But again, that's not a strategy that's going to win you ball games against a team with an offense like the LA Dodgers. It's
mean, it might. I mean, I certainly see
it won't.
Joe's pitching great. He's got 1. You get him 2, and you're good. I can see the argument. However,
in the 6th, man, there is 4 more ABs for that team.
I think the counter argument is, all right, if Jackson Merrill swings away, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Double
play. You don't score any in that inning. Doesn't get the runners over. You end up not scoring. You still have the 1-0 lead. You still feel good with Joe Musgrove. I agree with you, Woods. I think you take your chance at letting Jackson hit against a right-hander and going for the big inning there and trying to add on, 2, 3 more runs to really put yourself in a better position. A 2-run lead against the Dodgers, let's be honest, feels like almost nothing.
Correct.
With a 2-0 lead, I knew at some point, I didn't know how fast it would happen, but I knew at some point their big boppers would come up as a tying or go-ahead run.
Yeah.
Just was going to happen. They are going to get a guy on at some point, and they're going to have someone very scary coming up to the plate, even with a 2-run lead. You really have to be up, like 4 to feel even a little bit comfortable against the Dodgers. So when you have the opportunity to go for a bigger inning, I still think you have to take it. And it's the one thing that has changed about the San Diego Padres. Yes, they have struggled with runners in scoring position this series. In fact, they finished in the series RISP 3 for 25 in the series. Now, they have been
not going to cut it.
They have been fantastic all
done.
season long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous how good they've been all season long. They haven't just forgotten how to hit with runners in scoring position. That's baseball randomness hitting you at a bad time. 3 for 25, 0 for 10 yesterday. However, the big inning, which was a hallmark of the San Diego Padres. Remember how many times we talked about, another 4-run inning. I think Giannis on Twitter called it the power of friendship inning.
Power
where
of friendship and just hit,
passing
hit,
the baton.
hit.
They kept saying that, passing the baton to the next guy. And they had the most 4-run innings in baseball. They don't have a single one this month.
Yep.
I had to go back and look. August 30th was the last time. It is now September 27th. It's been nearly a month since the Padres have had a 4-run inning, something they did with regularity. When you bunt, you're definitely taking away a lot of the chances at those 4-run innings. I'm not saying that's always the wrong play, but one of the hallmarks of the Padres has disappeared.
I'm saying it's mostly the wrong play. And when you look up and you go, all right, this kid's got 23 pops this year. Very good bat to ball guy. I mean, he sprays it left, goes up the middle, pulls it right. Doesn't matter. Jackson Merrill's a great hitter. Some would say he's an elite hitter. And that guy decides, I'm going to lay one down, or it's decided for him, either or. If I'm the Dodgers, I'm like, got you. I'll take my chances with Xander Bogaerts in the bottom of the order after that every single time. We watched Xander's ABs. Yeah, he floated a couple out there. He's not barreling the baseball. He doesn't strike fear into anyone, So I want my guy Jackson Merrill, who is one of the best hitters on the team.
I wonder if that was called for, or did anyone ask if that was called for, or Jackson did that on his own, Profar style? I'm not sure.
I hate it. It's such a now again, if it's the 8th inning and it's a 0-0 game, fine, man. Like there's time and place. But in the 6th, go out there, swing away. You're an elite hitter. Stay elite. Big innings. That's how you're going to win. 2 runs is not going to cut it against that offense. It's just not.
Now, in the last 10 games, Padres have only scored more than 4 once. So the offense, when you're talking about the real or fake concern, I kind of lean toward real.
For which one? The offense?
The offensive concern.
I have it too.
However, it's not as though they're out there doing absolutely nothing. They only struck out twice in the entire game last night. They put the ball in play. There were warning track flies.
Well,
Jackson Merrill hit some balls ripped right at people.
All the more reason to swing away and not hand them an out.
That. But what I'm talking about is how worried you should be. They're not going up there just flailing and looking like they've forgotten how to hit. They're putting the ball in play. Arise is certainly off. He is now 2 for his last 28.
It's tough, man.
And
It's a tough time of year for that.
And while he is putting the ball in play, he's getting under it. He's popping up. It certainly looks like the thumb is bothering him more than it was a couple of weeks ago. I know that I've seen many people say, you got to get him out of the lineup, give him some time off. And if Arise is saying, I might be helped by a few days off, then get him out of the lineup.
Got to.
If Arise, though, is saying, I need to hit my way out of this and get going, then you need to keep hitting him, because the last thing you want is Arise just sitting in a 2 for 28 funk when he starts the playoffs on Tuesday, because I'm almost positive he will be batting leadoff for the Padres on Tuesday.
Correct.
In the wild card game.
Yeah.
So do you want Luis Arise to just sit for the next 3 days getting healthy, but know then he's taking a 2 for 28 into the postseason, or do you want him actually swinging the bat and hopefully, getting some hits and becoming Luis Arise again? If he says, I'm fine going out there, I want Luis Arise going out there and trying to swing his way out of his slump, because you're going to need him in the postseason.
Bat him ninth. Bat him ninth
I would,
for right
I
now.
would be okay moving
because,
him down.
again, having a double leadoff is always an elite move. And if he's down in the 9-hole, he's not starting the game off with a lazy fly ball or a ground out, and Tatis leads off or Profar leads off. It's not like we don't have guys that can fill in those roles. It's not like Jackson Merrill couldn't slide up to 3. It's not like Manny couldn't slide up to 3. It's not like, you just move guys around a little bit to take some of the pressure off of them. But I do think, it's a bad time of year to go into a 2 for 28.
Now, if you were fighting for your playoff life and you had to win these next 3 games, and Luis is in an absolute funk, you might give him a day off, try someone else in that situation. But you're not.
You
You're
want
in the
him to hit
playoffs.
his way out of it.
You want him. You need him.
He's too good of a hitter
You
not to.
need him to get going. He's been too consistent, and he just over his career, he's going to get going again at some point.
Yep.
He will. You just want to make it as fast as possible that he gets back to being Luis Arise.
Yeah, you really can't afford many more days, many more offers for Luis. Had a productive out, I guess, at one point yesterday. But again, a healthy Luis Arise can turn that into a big inning.
Yeah, Manny, who had been slumping a little bit, 3 hits, and they were all hard hit, and almost a home run. I mean, just nearly the 4 for 4.
Thought he had it
with the home run.
He did too.
Just a little bit off the end of the bat, but that was a really good sign.
The Tatis one down the line was.
That was a killer.
That looked like it was
Inches.
like inches
Almost
from the pole.
killed that guy.
When he stopped and looked over to the dugout, like, are you sure that wasn't a home run? I was like,
he saw it
come
hit off
on.
the seat, and I think it was a yellow
they
seat
kicked
and a
right,
yellow.
but I thought live that it did sneak fair, but obviously on replay it didn't. Merrill was 0 for 3, but he hit the ball hard, nicely a couple of times.
And
in
he would have
addition
been
to
0
the sack
for
bunt.
he would have been 0 for 4, Ben. He could have been 0 for 4, but at least he was 0 for 3 because he got the sack bunt down.
And then even Higgy, who had been slumping, hit the
barrels.
ball hard, had the double that set up the first run, had a really hard line out, had a hard home run foul. I mean, when he's hitting it well, he's pulling those balls down the line, and saw that from Higgy yesterday. So there were actually some reasons for encouragement yesterday. Just no hits with runners in scoring position, and didn't capitalize on your many opportunities to put some runs on the board. But it wasn't as dire or maybe panic-inducing as you might think with a 7-2 loss to the Dodgers.
Yeah. Bill says he needs to play this weekend. Ozuna right behind him in batting title. I know that means a lot to Luis Arise. It doesn't mean much to me as far. I want him to get going because we need. If you're going to be the catalyst, the guy at the top of the order, you can't be in a 2 for 28. So I don't know how much I would leave him if he continues this series. And again, I understand Mike Schultz's position, and I think we all should. Luis, how's the thumb? It's good. Can you go? Yeah, I can go. Great, you're in there. That's it. These guys are two-time batting champion. Has had some monster hits for you this season. It's a no-brainer to keep putting him in if he says he's good to go. No-brainer.
I think you ask him, what do you think is best for you?
Right.
Do you want a couple days off? Do you think that would help? Fine. You want to play? You think that'll help? Fine. This is whatever Luis Arise thinks is going to be best for him to be at whatever maximum output he can be once the playoffs start.
Yeah, we can't, like this guy in the chat says, you can't forget who he is. Just like Manny, you can't forget the consistency that some of these guys have had in their career. And when a player is consistently consistent and they're a little banged up and they're injured but they still want to go, it's not a detriment to the team, in my opinion. It's not. I feel like those guys know enough to know, I got to get it going, and this is how I get it going. He's not going to start hitting by sitting on the bench or getting one pinch hit appearance. If his thumb is hurt and he needs to sit, no one's going to deny him that. But I absolutely understand getting him out there.
Certainly, there was some uncertainty thrown into the Padres' back end of the bullpen equation yesterday, and we can talk about that when we come back. We'll also play a Friday edition of Take on Woods, try to qualify one of our final listeners in September for a trip to Las Vegas. Don't go away. We're back in just a couple minutes here on 97.3 The Fan. Well, two of the Padres' most consistent relief options since the trade deadline both gave a little ground yesterday. Tanner Scott coming in the 2-2 game, 1 out in the 7th inning. You felt like, okay, well, they're going to keep it here with Tanner Scott.
Keep it right
going
here.
with their high leverage arm, and didn't happen. Single. And then the catcher's interference obviously was a big moment in that game.
Awful.
And while that's obviously not Tanner Scott's fault, and even for the catcher, it's a pretty random occurrence. Did see that Kyle Higashioka has more catcher's interferences than anyone in baseball, 6 of them now. That is a bit of an issue. I mean, yeah, probably won't happen, but you certainly would hate to see it happen in a key moment in a playoff game, especially that was an 0-2 count.
Yeah, man.
You got that guy. You get the second out there. You can be a little more careful with Ohtani coming up with no one in scoring position. That, to me, was a big moment in the game.
Huge.
That catcher's
Massive.
interference.
That's when you started to feel the wheels come off a little bit.
It's also why I'm kind of gonna dismiss Tanner Scott's struggles a little bit there as well. All right, that wasn't his fault. Put him in a really bad spot. He got a grounder off Ohtani.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, I thought it was a double play off the bat when he
too.
hit it. It was down angle. It was hard enough that I thought they might even be able to turn to. It just was just out of the reach of Luis Ariz at first base and found the hole into right field. So I wouldn't say it was a disastrously bad performance by Tanner Scott. It just was one of those in baseball that just kind of gets away from you because of the circumstances.
Good point by Andros here in the chat. Says most of those interferences came with the knuckleball.
Yeah, that is true.
He was Matt
yeah,
Waldron.
because you're trying to grab him. That's true.
Try to go
that
get
is
it.
true.
Try to go get it when you can see it.
That one certainly didn't.
That one did not. That was not a knuckleball, and got away from Higgy a little bit there last night. But yeah, look, it's something to work on, right? If you're Schulte, you're Higgy, you know, it's something that you say, hey, let's try to cut that out. Matty Waldron's gone. You don't have to go out and get it. It's going to get to you. Things like that. I know less than nothing about catching. I know that's a very hard position, and I just I don't know. And again, the main discourse today is about Luis Ariz, and I'm still can't wrap my head around.
Before you get to Luis Ariz, let me just. I don't think that if you were still thinking about using Tanner Scott in the 9th, and we don't really even know what Mike Schulte is thinking.
No.
Obviously, he's used Robert Suarez again, but he said, I'm open to looking at matchups. I don't think this changes that at all. I would still be okay using Tanner Scott in the 9th inning if they thought the better matchups for Tanner Scott came in the 9th inning.
Well, it'll be fun. As soon as we know who we're playing on Tuesday, then on Monday, maybe Monday, we'll get to sit in here and break down where we think, you know, hey, the lanes, because that's what they're going to do too. They can't do anything. It would make no sense for Mike Schilt and A.J. Preller. Now, you can go and look at all the teams you potentially could be facing on Tuesday and say, all right, here's our plan for the Braves. Here's our plan for the Mets. Here's our plan for this team and that team. But let's say it's the Mets. You know, you get together, you game plan it, and you say, if we get down to this scenario at this part of their lineup, also this is who they have coming off the bench. I really feel like this is the lane for Tanner Scott. This is the lane for Jason Adam. This is a potential lane for Robert Suarez. I did see people saying last night, if you were going to take Joe out, now Estrada had pitched 2 nights in a row. Granted, one night he threw 1 pitch, which is why he was available for 19 pitches the next night. I understand them not going to him yesterday. He's also not your highest high leverage reliever, especially the last night you put him in, he walked 2 guys. So I can totally understand why Mike Schilt didn't go, give me Estrada, right? Because the very last time you saw him on a mound, he walked 2 guys. So I think you look at the lanes for the guys, you see where it makes the most sense based on who your opponent is, and you kind of plan it a little bit, knowing full well this plan means nothing if, you know, we score 6 runs in the first or they score 6 runs in the first. It all goes out the window. But I do not think that you should be married to any closer, setup, 8th inning guy because you have 3, maybe even 4 guys that can do the job. That being said, Benny, last night, what would you have thought about Suarez in that spot instead of Tanner Scott, using him there against, you know, the bottom of the lineup to come in and try a little something new for Big Game Bobby Fastballs.
So it was Freddie Freeman coming up with 1 out and nobody on. Probably not bringing in Suarez
Not
to face
Suarez
Freddie
there.
Freeman. I think that's why he went with Scott.
With Tanner.
You had the lefty coming up. You wanted to get him to start. You didn't. He got a hit.
Freddie's
there.
the 4-hole?
He's the 3-hole.
3-hole.
Yeah.
And then you had
Teoscar,
Smith.
Muncy, then Smith. So you had two lefties coming up in the next 3. So that's why Tanner Scott's lane was that lane.
inning. He just didn't get the
job
job
It was the
done.
Freeman-Muncy lane that Scott, I think he was the right guy.
Yeah.
If you want to keep that game 2-2, and you do, he's the best possible guy to do it. It just didn't work out for the Padres yesterday. Doesn't mean you change the strategy next time just because it didn't work out this time. If you want to join us for Take on Woods, give us a call right now, 833-288-0973. Got about 3 minutes until we will play our musical trivia
Freeman,
challenge.
It was Lux, Eric says. So Joe comes in.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. They were.
So you got,
was it No,
because
it was Lux.
He walked
right.
Muncy. He gave up the homer to Smith, and then you got
Otani.
Lux.
They were at the bottom of the order.
They were at the bottom.
Right. I was thinking a different inning.
So at that point, would that have been, again, if you're going to try to get a soft landing spot for Robert Suarez, that could have been an option too instead of Tanner Scott. But again, I 100% don't fault Mike Schilt for going to Tanner Scott. Tanner didn't get the job done. It happens.
That's right. It was Lux, then they pinch. Or no, it was it was Lux, but they pinch hit Kike instead.
Yeah.
Right? And
then that was later.
That was later?
I think that was later.
Oh, we have lost the plot a little bit here from the game last night.
Very
Sorry
tired.
about that.
It's Friday. But what I'm saying is that could have been a potential, different look for Robert Suarez there in that inning.
All right,
but
Joe
again,
struck out Edman. Then they brought in Scott. Kike pinch hit. He was the first. He got a hit. He's never not gotten a hit against Tanner Scott, apparently.
Crazy.
So that was a good move by Dave Roberts. Then Pages got on the catcher's interference.
Yep.
Then Otani singled.
Yeah. So it's Then you have Tanner Scott in there to get Otani, and he got the ground ball just trickled through under Ariza's glove. So yeah, man, it's just there's no reason I think to be married to any of that, and I don't think they will be. I really don't. And Paul, you said it before the show started. If it was 2-0. If it was 2-0 and Tanner comes in and nails it down, then Jason Adam comes in the 8th and nails it down, hell yes, I'm nervous about Robert Suarez. But I'll tell you this.
I was already thinking about it in the 6th, 7th inning or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, if this game stays, like if the ass comes in and it's 2-0 heading into the 9th, I was already scared about an hour before it happened.
But
would have happened.
I will always be scared in the 9th inning with a 2-run lead against the LA Dodgers. That really doesn't matter if Mariano Rivera, Trevor Hoffman, Lee Smith, doesn't matter. Ryan Helsley, it doesn't really matter who it is. They're a good team. They got a good lineup. They have a deep lineup. They have an expensive lineup. Those guys are paid to get the job done. Robert Suarez, he needs to figure it out. And maybe there is a different spot. And we'll ask somebody that knows so much more than any of us could ever fathom about these exact things coming up at 9 o'clock when we talk to the GOAT, Trevor Hoffman, will be joining the program. And what a great guy to speak on all this.
I also want to ask Trevor about comparing this team with the 1998 Padres.
Yeah.
There was some magic in that team as well.
Sure.
But I want to get his firsthand opinion on kind of how, they won 98 games. This team is at 91? But certainly there's some similarities as well to what was a Magic season and a Magic postseason. We'll get back to Luis Arraez talk in just a couple of minutes. Right now, though, let's get to our Friday edition of Take on Woods. I'm going to pick I'm going with line 2 here. Caller, who's this?
Identify yourself.
Anyone there?
Yeah, hello?
Hey, who's this?
Hey, this is Russ.
Hey, Russ, you calling
Russ.
for a Take on Woods?
Yes, I am.
Boom, you are our contestant today, Russ. If you can beat or tie Woods in our 5 questions of musical trivia, We'll put you into the drawing for the grand prize. 2-night stay at the Winter Encore Las Vegas and the tickets to Awakening, the thrilling spectacle at the Wynn. Tickets on sale now at awakening.com. And just a reminder, Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes and you don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Russ, have you played before?
Yes, I have.
All right, so you know how it works. 5 questions. The first question, our 2-second song. If you can get the song title and the artist, you score the point there. We'll compare your score to Woods's and see how it goes for you. And you get to choose our category to give you a little advantage. We've got Below the Waist, 5 songs that include a lower half body part in the title. This and Up, those are 5 songs with the word end in the title, and it's a 2-second song category. Oh, no, it's Up. That's Up in the title. It's a 2-second song, all 5 category. And then Family Trip is our new category today. 5 song titles and artists that all have something to do with taking a trip. So Below the Waist, This End Up, or Family Trip?
Let's do Below the Waist.
Below the Waist. All right. Today's category, Russ, features 5 song titles that each include a lower half body part in their name. Of 60 seconds. Pass if you don't know an answer. We'll come back to it at the end. All right, start with our 2-second song. Paul, you ready to go?
Yes.
All right, Russ, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Remember, title and the artist here. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. The category Below the Waist. Good luck, Russ. Let's take on Woods.
Ladies up in here tonight. No fighting. We got the refugees. No fighting.
Pass.
She Knows How to Use Them, in which 1984 top 10 hit for ZZ Top.
Legs.
Correct.
Legs.
Casey and the Sunshine Band followed up Get Down Tonight, and That's the Way I Like It, with which third 1976 hit with a suggestive title that reached number 1 on the Billboard charts.
Shake Your Booty.
Correct. Which Tears for Fears hit ends with the duo stretching out the final line, Funny How Time Flies.
Pass.
Zach Brown sang about what in the water in their number 1 country hit from the year 2009?
Pass.
Go back to our 2-second song.
Ladies up in here tonight. No fighting. We got the refugees.
Shakira. Pass. Darn.
Which
Shakira.
Tears for Fears hit ends with the duo stretching out the final line, Funny How Time Flies?
Pass again.
All right, go back to the 2-second song. All right, well, that's all right. You got 2, I believe, which could be enough. Who knows? Stay on the line, Russ. You got Legs and Shake Your Booty. That was Hips Don't Lie by Shakira. Hips just below the waist. We got Head Over Heels from Tears for Fears. The heels would be the lower half body part. And Toes is the Zach Brown song that Woods doesn't do well in the country, so especially the newer country. All right, Russ's score is locked in. Woods returns. Fix your camera so everyone can see your pretty face on our YouTube stream. Paulie, resetting our 2-second song. 60 seconds back on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Russ.
Ladies up in here tonight. No fighting. We got the refugees. No fighting.
Pass. She Knows How to Use Them, in which 1984 top 10 hit for ZZ Top?
Legs.
Correct. Casey and the Sunshine Band followed up Get Down Tonight, and That's the Way I Like It, with which third 1976 hit with a suggestive title that reached number 1 on the Billboard charts?
Pass.
Which Tears for Fears hit ends with the duo stretching out the final line, Funny How Time Flies?
Funny how time flies. It's not. Is it Head Over Heels?
It is.
Oh.
Zach Brown sang about what in the water in their number 1 country hit from the year 2009?
Doo-doo.
No. Go back to our 2-second song.
No idea.
All right, then try Casey and the Sunshine Band. Followed up
What
Get
is the
Down Tonight,
category?
and That's the Way I Like It, with which third 1976 hit with a suggestive title.
Make a little, do a little dance, make a little love.
No,
that's
that
Get
is
Down Tonight.
incorrect. And you can't get the 2-second song. 2-2, we got a tie.
Oh,
and
jeez.
Russ, congratulations. You have qualified for the trip to Las Vegas. So the category was Below the Waist.
Below the Way. Oh, you creep.
That was Hips Don't Lie by Shakira.
Okay.
Shake Your Booty by Casey and the
You
Sunshine
said
Band.
Suggestive title. I don't know that that's
Shake your
suggestive.
booty.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
Shake your
no, it
booty.
is.
It was in 1976.
That's true. Shake your booty.
I wasn't alive then because
true.
Once again, our
And
category
Zach
involves
Brown
songs
saying
from
about
40 years ago.
toes in the water.
Toes in the water.
Toes in the water.
Damn
All right,
it.
Russ, stay on the line. Paulie will get your information during our break and put you into the drawing. Maybe the last person into the drawing for September for the trip to the Encore and the win. We got Don't Do This
Definitely
coming
the
up
last
next.
I mean, John Fisher.
Yes, that's a good one. I want to talk at some point about the threats from Dodgers fans leveled toward Luis Ariz last night.
Oh, that was something else.
Yeah,
man.
I thought so. So we'll get to that coming up with Bennett Woods after Check of Traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, here we go.
Flag 17 on.
That is my number.
All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
I will preface Don't Do This today by saying we are never wishing injury on anyone, even on a Dodger, and we wish a quick recovery for Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, I don't want any excuses.
After what happened last night, later in the game, when a ground ball to Jake, quick throw pulled Luis Arraez off the bag, had to reach across the foul line to try to tag Freddie Freeman as he went by. And when Freddie hit the base, he rolled his ankle pretty badly.
It
Saw
was
the
standing.
still shot.
He was standing on his foot was like an L.
The side of his foot was on the ground, not the bottom of the foot. It was pretty ugly.
It was ugly.
He left Dodger Stadium reportedly on crutches and in a walking boot. So if you're a Dodger fan, you're certainly concerned about that. However, you're also a Dodger fan. What are you thinking? So they went after Luis Arraez for tagging Freddie Freeman.
Noted thug Luis Arraez. They're like the nicest guy in baseball.
Making a baseball play. And our friend Matthew, who set up our Reddit AMA earlier this week, screenshotted, like one after another, Dodgers fans and the threats they were making to Luis Arraez. Yoni said, no effing way, completely unnecessary. I'm throwing hands with Arraez if it's serious. Dea, bring Joe Kelly in to throw 99 miles an hour to Arraez's rib. Ralphie, what is Arraez doing? Tag him on his upper body. WTF was that?
When Freddie ran into the bag, he turned to avoid the tag, and when he turned, his
just
body.
Baseball play.
It's a baseball play.
I'm just getting started though. Nolan, Arraez is officially on the hit list. Dea, kill Arraez. Drea, F you Arraez, we're going to kill you with hammers, dog. Drea, Luis Arraez, you have 7 days to live, you effing bum.
Good Lord.
Yeah. JT, Arraez isn't even in this, although he spells it with an R, country legally. Why is he playing ball?
Good.
My God, Dodgers fans.
You're pathetic. They don't know baseball. They don't know baseball. No one talks more ass than these guys. No one. This is why they're just the worst of the worst. That's the worst part of Twitter is Dodger fans going after a guy for making a
violent
baseball play.
Dodger fan Twitter there.
100%.
In a nutshell. Don't do that.
Yeah, they'll send me little hate mail and stuff. You guys have seen it. I showed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just the worst. They're the worst. And, again, you don't win enough to talk the smack that you talk. Well, you win, but you don't win the big prize. So, and I know that bothers them, and they're very insecure, but that's how it is. So, I'm actually switching mine up. I would like to spend some time with our pal Jordan Schusterman talking about everything that went down yesterday in Oakland. Did you guys get a chance to sit and watch some of the game?
Yes,
From
I did.
The sixth inning on, I
Okay.
was watching
Yeah,
on the MLB Network.
I was, doing dad stuff. I had to go pick up the kids, and I came home, and I threw it on, and I was able to catch the last out, Mason Miller, and then all the
there were a lot of delays.
all the delays and the ceremonies after that. So I want to push that if we can. We've got some beautiful audio from Dallas Braden. It got me, like I tweeted yesterday, had me crying in the club, dude, watching this audio yesterday. But this story broke yesterday as well. I don't know if you guys saw this. Wander Franco, remember him? Tampa Bay shortstop, is ordered to stand trial on charges that he sexually abused a minor in Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. So the evidence and the accusation presented had sufficient merits to warrant a trial. 23 years old. He's been on administrative leave, talking about his sexual relationship with a 14-year-old girl. And so he is actually going to have to go stand trial in the DR. That was a story that was updated yesterday, and a gnarly one at that.
All right, finally a little do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
Can you have a celebratory moment in a 120-loss season? Because the Chicago White Sox actually did yesterday. They went into their final home series needing to avoid a single loss if they didn't want to at least set the new modern loss record at home with their 121st. After the Padres swept them, they went home to face the Angels. And they did it. They swept the Angels, finishing it off with a 7-0 win, including a victory yesterday for Chris Flexen, his first since May 8th. He is 3-15, but he went 7 shutout innings or 6 1/3 shutout innings, and the White Sox actually got a standing ovation from the remaining fans on the south side of Chicago at that game. And by the way, as nervous as we were in that series against the White Sox, they've been playing their best baseball of the season here at the end.
They are scrapping and fighting hard.
They were playing pretty good
Angels.
coming into the series against the Padres, and they are playing good coming out of the series against the Padres. It's just the Angels, who, by the way, have lost 96 games, quietly having their worst season in franchise history.
Yeah,
but with the White Sox losing 24 more games, it kind of goes unnoticed how bad you've been as the Angels, but they'll notice after that series when you get swept in Chicago. Now, can they avoid the record 3 more days? Not going to be easy. They got to go play the Tigers, the hottest team.
And the Tigers,
the hottest team.
Well,
the Tigers' magic number is down to 1.
I know. Did you see what Grady Sizemore is doing, which I thought was really kind of badass? He's moving Garrett Crochet up and starting him in game 1, knowing the Tigers need 1 win to go to the playoffs. And he said, "This is like."
Try to delay it as long as we can.
We're rivals. I owe this to every other team to get my best guys out there.
Now, the Tigers can clinch simply with another Twins loss.
That's true.
As can the Royals. Their magic numbers, the Royals and Tigers, both at 1.
I thought that was so cool.
They're also playing for the 5th seed. One of them's going to face the Orioles, though. One of them's going to face the Astros, likely, in the wild card round. But, hey, congratulations to the White Sox. Did not give up when everything told you they had given up long ago.
Crazy, man.
They come and they win 3 straight.
It's a crazy, stupid sport we love. It really is crazy and stupid. It makes no sense.
And that is Don't and Do This for a Friday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
I can believe that the Dodgers fans, but I also can't believe it with Luis Arraez, threats.
You new here?
I'm not new here, so that's why I said I also can believe it. But
it's unhinged.
But if you're going to be mad at someone, Dodgers fans, mad at Jake maybe for missing the throw and pulling him off the bag. What else is Luis Arraez supposed to do?
You can't be mad at Jake either. It's a baseball play.
It's a baseball
play. And look, man, Freddie Freeman, great player, seemingly a really good dude. Is a gawky man. He's a gawky fella. He's a baby giraffe a little bit when he runs, and when he hit the bag,
tall.
He's tall
he's
as hell.
Awkward.
And Luis is little. What do you want? What do you want him to do there? He's not trying to hurt him. You know that too. You know that.
I'm curious. I would say tease this for the next segment, but I don't think, if I know you guys at all, I don't think this is going to take that long. I was DM'd at least 7 or 8 times yesterday.
Yeah.
A clip of Mookie Betts and Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah,
on
I watched
a
some of it.
podcast.
I watched some of it.
And I was said, don't do this. Oh, this is a don't do this. Oh, I have to
I
hear
got
this
that
on
too.
don't do this.
I got that too. And I go, who's the don't do this for? Both of them?
I'm trying to frame it. I'm like, don't do this on Tatis. Don't do this for both of them. I don't understand. I didn't get the sentiment there. I thought it was kind of well known and pretty obvious and pretty clear that there's a fraternity, a brotherhood in sports, but especially in Major League Baseball. Maybe more than any other sport.
Yep.
That I guess nobody, in myself, all of us included, we can't grasp it. But I was not surprised or upset in any way when I saw that.
We romanticize a lot of the things from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and how those guys did it. And I think Mookie put it pretty well on that podcast. We can talk about it if you want. We can play a couple of clips. There was one in particular that he spoke about it, and he knew people were going to be on him. He knew it. He basically said it. A lot of people might be asking why we do this right now today, and this is why. And I liked his answer, and it's hard to, when you hear his answer, go, idiot. I think that let's play it. Let's play some, and you get your reaction to. But I've said it a million times.
We hate, as fans, opposing players
way more,
exponentially
way
more than Padres players hate those guys.
Has anybody ever seen Manny Machado over at third base?
Correct. Or Freddie Freeman at first.
He loves every other baseball player that comes around to third base. Loves them all.
Or Freddie Freeman at first, chatting everybody up. There's also a reason that you do that. There's a reason that you do that as well. So let's talk about it.
He also loves getting the better of them when he's out there at the same time. That's all you can ask for. loves his fellow baseball player, loves beating him on the field just as much.
Yep.
Yeah, we can play a little bit of that. I do think, in one sense, unforced error. Hey, Fernando, you want to come on my podcast? Why don't we tape it after the season? We'll talk about everything that went down and release it then, as opposed to when fans are going to be in their feels all over this series.
No, but that's the inside look that anybody that listens to those podcasts wants.
You
want the in-season,
you want the story of the triple play that you turned the night before. You don't want it in.
You want it fresh.
Yeah, you don't want it in November. I thought it was pretty cool, but you would think Boomer Woods. No, I think it's fine.
All right, coming up next, we'll talk about the Padres' May series against the Colorado Rockies and how they struggled because we wanted to let it cool off a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, we'll play a little bit of that, and we'll continue. Why did the Padres change their starting rotation this weekend is an interesting question as well. That is all coming up with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan. All right, Fernando, nice little sit down. How long has Mookie been doing his podcast? Like a Bleacher Report thing?
For a while. Yeah, he's been doing it a while. I don't know what it's called. What's it called?
Mookie and Friends.
Mookie's Inside the Dugout. They all have those great
Between
names.
the Lines.
Between
with
the
Mookie
Lines.
Betts.
Ground Balls with Mookie Betts. Oh, he should call it Ground Bald. Get it? You get
On Base with Mookie Betts.
You're joking.
No, I'm not. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
He should have gone with Ground Bald, I think, because he's balding. That'd be a good one. Ground Bald with Mookie Betts. So Fernando was on Ground Bald yesterday.
I'm not mad at all about
could you
Fernando being on.
Why would you be?
I'm a little mad about like current athletes trying to steal our jobs in the media at the same time.
I wouldn't worry about it.
mean,
It's different.
We're not out there, playing right field for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Why should you be doing our job in the media at the same time?
Yeah, it's true.
Stay in your lane. But no, it's good. It's insight. It's personal, and
it's great. It's
and
great insight. I love the insight. It's no different, man. In my opinion, at least, just the fact that it's a current player. But like, you've got current players going on doing media hits, doing podcasts throughout the season. Chris Rose has got his rotation, and he'll have Tyler Glass now on there, the day before a start or the day after a start. I think it's really, really great to hear. And some of the stories that you get are phenomenal. Some of the insight you get is phenomenal. It's frankly what we can't provide. I am unable to provide you with what they are able to provide you. I wish I could. I wish to God I could. That's why we try to bring a lot of former players on. Brett Boone hangs out for an hour. Tell us the stories, man. Nobody tells better stories than baseball players. So I don't really have a problem with it. I mean,
I'd like to think from an entertainment value perspective that we provide a lot more, though, than
sure.
like Mookie can provide.
They're not good. I mean,
That's
listen
the thing.
to
It's
him.
It's not great.
And this is not a shot at him. I swear. I like Mookie Betts enough. Like he's not a great broadcaster. He's not a great podcaster. He doesn't weave the best yarns. You know what I'm saying? But I
don't think he's trying to.
I don't think he is either. He's just being Mookie Betts. That's what he's doing.
And
Because that's who he is.
If there's a tinge of jealousy to that, yeah, because Mookie probably makes more just for that podcast than
I'm
all
not
of
jealous
us
at all.
may combine in a year because he's Mookie Betts.
I have no envy for that at all. I think it's great. The only thing I'm envious of is I want to sit and talk to Fernando Tatis Jr. That's that.
We have sat and talked to Fernando Tatis
but it has
Jr.
been so long. I miss talking to him. So anyway, I just don't think it's that big a deal unless you make it a big deal. And these guys, look, perfect example. Diesel says he's the best podcaster. The guy's damn good. The one thing that infuriates me is like, we could have been doing this for years together, Eric. We could have had you on every Friday, whatever. Like, he's really good at what he does now. And he gets good guests, and they have good stories. So I really don't have a problem with them doing it. In fact, I actually thought it was kind of cool that they were talking about a play that happened, the 2 days before, the night before.
A once in a lifetime
play. You guys clinched and celebrated and all that. You're talking to your opponent who now can tell you how he was feeling in the dugout, et cetera. But I saw it, and I'll tell you, my initial reaction was this: oh, people are going to lose their minds. That was my initial reaction, and sure enough, they did. I promise you, though, that in the 60s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, I promise you, those guys all went out and raged together. All of them. Like, they all did. The tough-nosed, hard-nosed, we hate the Braves, we hate the Giants. Those guys all went out and partied together. They all went fishing together in the offseason. There just wasn't a camera.
There was a difference, though, because back then they didn't have the turnover and changing of the teams.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that guy who you're playing against...
He's going to be here next year.
You may have already played with him. You may play with him next year.
That's true.
Back in the day, you're probably kind of stuck with the same guys.
Yeah, you're there for 15 years.
And you're not going to play with the other guys, and... So it was a little different, I think.
Like, I don't think Ed Whitson and Pascual Perez ever sat down and cracked, cold ones together. But I'm sure Tim Flannery took somebody out at second base and then had beers with him after the game. I bet dollars to donuts that he absolutely did. And Mookie kind of talks about that, too. When I heard this clip, I went, this should quell any of those issues.
A lot of people in the chat, and I'm sure
in the comments and whatnot are thinking that they're saying that it's funny and kind of crazy that we're doing a podcast right now.
They said worse than that.
The race. And so my take on it, and I'll let you talk, but my take on it is the game, during the game, we'll be fighting to win the game. Like that's a given. That's between the lines, right? But I think I may have said it before, like the brotherhood that's created playing this game is what you'll always remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When we get older, we're going to always remember Tatis as a great player, right? But I'm going to remember who you were.
Yeah.
The person that you are, how you treated me, our relationship more than the baseball stuff. And so for me, like right now, we're living a normal life.
Yeah, it's fire.
You know, this is a normal. And now when the game starts,
yeah, we're fighting.
We're fighting, right? And so I want to hear your take on it. Like, what do you think about it?
I definitely appreciate this, you know, because you said, like you mentioned, this is where we're gonna take this. But we're gonna remember the home runs and like the hits, and all that is pretty. But you know, the people that you meet on the way, that
I like this
at the same time, so many different backgrounds, but at the same time, also so similar. You know, and like
very similar.
Yeah, very similar, and like sharing stories and like having that respect for that guy, that you know how much of hard work you need to do to be in the place that you are at.
That's it.
And
that's all you need. I mean, that part to me was a kind of a respect game type situation. Like, man, I know what you had to do to get here because I had to do the same thing. I know listen, I get it. I know the grief that you get from your fan base is the same grief that I get from mine. They both have lots of ability. They both make lots of money. I get it. I totally understand it. It's bigger for us, the fans, than it is for them. For them, it has to be just another game. It really does, and you can ratchet up the intensity.
You would never survive if you made it.
You couldn't survive, man.
If you stressed out about it the way we do as fans, you wouldn't survive the season.
You wouldn't. You couldn't do it if you were a player. So that part, and Mike, who's our buddy Mike, he's like, he gets his boomer as I do sometimes. He said, that part sold me. And I said, yes, that's the exact part that sold me as well. I go, all right, great. Well, what are we talking here? An hour in the morning before a game? Who cares? Like, why would anyone care? And didn't hurt Mookie.
I think that was Mookie's house, like in front of his fireplace.
Either
they
that
look
or
like in a living room, or
like
was
his
it a
podcast
set?
studio.
Like a set they have.
Bro, it wouldn't surprise me if it was in Dodger Stadium somewhere. You know what I mean?
Wherever
Like,
it was very bright because
Yeah, it
they're
was good.
both wearing sunglasses indoors.
That's a choice, I think. We have a light.
Should we be wearing sunglasses? Are we doing it wrong?
I feel like that's such a it's such a hardo move for guys like us, but those guys are G's.
I
So
mean, they pull it
can
off
do
so easily.
Yes.
But I feel like if we were all three of us, and we have lights, and they're right in our
dorks.
face,
We would be dorks.
and we all wore sunglasses, it wouldn't go well for us.
You wear transition lenses.
I do.
How come the light doesn't turn them dark?
These aren't the transitions. I wear those for golf.
Oh, I thought you wore them all the time.
No, these
Okay.
are
The
my
readers?
non-transitions. Yeah,
Please start wearing your transitions.
I did. I used to wear.
I
them.
remember.
I don't think they.
But
I don't
we
think
didn't have
this
the light then.
Oh, that's true.
I think the last time we wore glasses during our show, sunglasses, was probably out at spring training when we got that light,
We
the
had
sun
to.
just beaming right into your face.
We had to do it.
Problem is, at least for me, I don't know about you guys, my sunglasses are polarized. Most
Yeah.
sunglasses nowadays have polarized lenses. You ever try to look at a computer screen with
You can't-
polarized
you
lenses?
can't do it.
It's impossible.
It's really rough out there at spring training. You actually feel bad for us.
If I'm uploading something, posting something, whatever, I have to like tilt the sunglasses down, look over the frame. It's
I
awful.
walked into like a taco shop a few weeks ago wearing my glasses, and I looked up at the menu and go, "Oh, the screen's off." Like, hey, can I get a paper menu? And they go, "It's right here." They're pointing up, and I go, "No, it's off." They go, "Take off your glasses," and I took them off.
You're
and it was
joking.
It just appeared like magic. Like, oh, whoa! I can see it now.
I'm pretty sure most sunglass distributors, if you go on their website or whatever, like the default these days is like polarized lenses that helps with glare while you're driving and all
Right.
that. But it makes it impossible to see a screen.
Now, it begs the other question, too. You see it a lot on stage. Your favorite front man walks out, and he's got shades on, and he's in a dark venue. And I thought to myself, I think that's one of the absolute perks of being a front man, because it's one of the only times you can get away with it. Like throwing them on. Now, there's lights.
I would assume they're hiding their bloodshot eyes
from all the
their
booze
rock
and
roll
drugs. Yes,
lifestyle.
yes,
That's why they're
100%.
wearing the sunglasses.
But that part, man, being able to walk on stage in your shades and rip the mic, always thought that's pretty cool.
We need to show everyone how clear-eyed and sober we are in the morning. So
that's
you
true.
want to see our eyes.
I don't feel sober, but I absolutely did not drink a lick last night.
All right, I have come up with like the most bizarre scenario possible. It's not one you want, Padres fans, but
Okay.
it certainly is in the realm of possibility.
This is a chance to explore the space a little bit.
We can check that right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Kearney Mesa VW. Guys, our Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a two-car collision on northbound 5 before Mile of Cars Way. They are in the center divide. Fortunately, no other problems on our roads at this time. San Diego, don't let these deals slide by. Kearney Mesa Volkswagen, now part of Sedano Auto Group, has your ticket to ride. 2024 Tiguan S, $259 monthly. 2024 Jetta S Sedan, $179 monthly. Step up to the plate and find your ultimate VW at VWofKearneyMesa.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And this segment of Ben & Woods is brought to you by Indeed. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit. As we mentioned earlier, the Padres still in very good position to host wild card games. They simply need either 2 wins over the Diamondbacks in 3 games, or just 1 win and 1 New York Mets loss in their last 5 games. 3 in Milwaukee, 2 in Atlanta. 1 + 1 gets it done. So
and those games are 100% going down. Everything that the team that might not have to play any extra games is the Diamondbacks, right? Mets, Braves happening Monday for sure.
There's a scenario where they don't happen, but if they don't happen, and the Padres win a game, I don't think the Mets can catch the Padres.
Okay,
so,
all right.
I mean, the commissioner would have to decide if whether the home seeding is important enough to make them play those games or not. I don't know, but so that they're still in good shape, but there certainly is a scenario that you wouldn't want if you're the Padres, and it goes like this. Padres.
I'm hesitant to have you even put this in the universe because I know where you're about to go. And
all right, so let's say the Padres win 1 game this weekend against the Arizona Diamondbacks, but the Mets keep winning and sweep the Milwaukee Brewers. The Padres will finish ahead of the Diamondbacks, but they will go into Monday not knowing if they're the 4 seed or the 5 seed in the playoffs against the Mets. And if they play that doubleheader,
even if we win a game, you're saying.
If we win exactly 1 game, but the Mets win all 3, the Mets would go into that doubleheader if they swept, and they might still have to play them because Atlanta might still be able to catch. Who knows? But if they play those games, the Mets would sweep. They would host the games on Tuesday.
Unreal.
If they lose either of them, the Padres would host the games, which would mean on Monday, the Padres would have to wait in San Diego likely until after a doubleheader is played. So 10 a.m. first game, like 1:30, 2 p.m. next game, maybe 5:30. If the Mets swept those 2 games, the Padres would then say, hey, everybody, we got to go to the airport, get on our plane, 7, 8 o'clock, fly 5 hours plus 3 hours
8
time
hours,
difference. So
essentially.
you're getting like 4 or 5 a.m. in New York. You
That's
go
a
to a
worst
hotel.
case.
And remember, it's going to be a day game. So it might be like a 1 o'clock start in New York. You may only have like 4 hours between the time that you arrive in New York and have to play that game on Monday. If you had any plane difficulties or anything, you might not make it to the game on Monday if that was the case.
Man.
Major League Baseball has a potential logistical nightmare on their hands depending on what happens the next 3 days and with this doubleheader on Monday between the Braves and the Mets.
But again, you can take all of those worries away by winning 2 games.
Yes, you
That's
can.
it. That's all you got to do.
Yes, you can.
You win 2 games.
Which is why, go ahead and take these games seriously.
Which is why Yu Darvish is pitching tonight, and somebody very good will be pitching
Could be
tomorrow.
Michael King tomorrow. I mean, if
it
you
depends.
needed it.
If those Mets
Well, King pitched
lose,
on King pitched on Tuesday, so they'd have to wait until Friday or Sunday to pitch him.
Yeah, just win. Just
So-
win against the Diamondbacks and figure it out, and then you
I'd
don't have to
imagine
worry about it.
there will be some scoreboard watching inside
Yeah.
of Chase Field today.
Best
because
case scenario-
Mets and Brewers go at 5-10.
Yeah, the Mets lose, Padres win, and then the last 2 days you can call up Matt Waldron and give him another start, and you can call up
Logan Gillespie
and put him in the bullpen.
Yeah.
And you get Alec Jacobs some work, throw Matsui out there again.
Woo!
You can do
Wandy-
a lot. You can
Wandy time.
You can do a lot in the last 2 days if you can take care of it today.
Wow! Holy
Hell.
crap!
Hello.
It's like that Eddie Ortega of music right there, Paulie. Just blew out my eardrums. Let's go Brewers! Let's go Brewers! Those guys
I mean,
are
they are
playing
division
for nothing.
champions.
They're playing for nothing. Just
So there's still some stuff to keep an eye on.
yeah, you've seen it all, haven't you?
Yeah.
JH says he's a Padre fan for life. He knows what could potentially
Jordan
happen.
Schusterman when we come back next here on the Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a Friday. Mercifully, a Friday. Going to go into the weekend, fellas. 3 more regular season games to go. When we sit down in here Monday, we still may not know who we play on Tuesday or where we play. Just so you know, Ben has just scared the crap out of all of us.
Sorry.
And he's gotten me rethinking everything that I had planned tonight with my kids. Now realizing more than ever, no scary movie tonight, kids. We will be watching baseball, whether you like it or not. So thanks a lot for that, Uncle Ben.
Late September baseball. That is your scary movie.
That is my scary movie.
I think the irony is that as a baseball fan, I tend to like to cheer for chaos.
Oh, yeah.
It's very entertaining.
Unless it's
but then
your
when
team.
it's my team, it's like, stop the chaos.
Enough. Let's get this thing locked in.
I feel like Jordan Schusterman's kind of a pro-chaos guy as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
It is time for our weekly Cespedes Family Barbecue chat, and there he is, Jordan Schusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue and Yahoo Sports, and our segment that is brought to you by Grand Old Barbecue. Good Friday morning to you, Jordan. Are you a chaos fan?
You know, I'm rethinking my status as a chaos fan, considering these scenarios that are in play. As you know, every time me and Jake hops on here on a Friday morning, we just wrapped up recording our podcast, and it's not, I mean, listen, the most important thing is, of course, people are safe and everything with the hurricane and all those things.
Yeah.
Obviously, right? However, once you get past those very important, obvious caveats, this is not a pleasant thing to try and sort through these situations that are currently in play here, and how it will maybe impact the discourse surrounding the start of this National League postseason. But I heard you just say you were worried about where the Padres are going to play. Well,
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Are we that concerned about that? Why? Because tiebreakers, you get swept because Arizona has so much to play for, and you don't have anything to play for.
No, but if the Padres win one and the Mets keep winning, the Padres could still be passed by the Mets on that last day if they swept the doubleheader, which means they
Okay.
wouldn't know where they're going until the last minute. And they might have to stand by waiting to jet off to New York like late Monday to play on Tuesday.
You know, it's so funny you say that though, because but I'm not sure that would be true, because then in that case, then the Mets wouldn't have anything actually to play for.
No,
for
if
those
the
last
Braves
games. Okay.
keep winning, they could still be one game behind the Mets,
That's
and
true.
so
That's
they'd
true.
still have something
Well,
to play
but to
for.
your
yeah.
point, we weren't even thinking about the Padres when we talked about this morning. So I don't know if that's a compliment or just an oversight. But
I think it's probably
that is how messy this has really gotten.
Well, I think it's a compliment, right? Because you're like, oh, well, they're locked up, they're in the playoffs, and
Other people don't worry about other people's teams the way fans of those teams do. Though.
Yeah.
you are reasonable. Like it's very unlikely. The Padres have been getting it done all season. Why wouldn't you if you're just a casual observer of the Padres? Well, they're going to get it done. At some
they already
point
locked
this
it up.
weekend.
They're in the playoffs.
They do this. They've done it all year. Why is it going to change instantly in the last 5 games of the season? That you just don't think that way. But you think that way when you're kind of a nervous fan of a team.
Yeah, Jordan, and the so far so good. I mean, obviously you lock it up in Dodger Stadium on one of the coolest plays you'll ever see, and then you go out and you drop the next 2 games. And listen, knowing that you wrapped it up gives you a little bit of a sense. You always want to beat the teams that you don't like and don't like you, certainly, but you do get the sense maybe these teams run into each other again, and in a long series, who knows what can happen. I wanted to ask you, though, about a couple of topics today. Number one, did I see this stat right? And again, I'm not trying to rub it in here. I'm a Padres fan. There's no way I could rub it into anyone. Did the Mariners have 96 quality starts this season? Was that the number I saw?
So I believe the final number was like 92.
92.
This is
Still
something
very
I have,
good. It's very good.
I have tracked this pretty closely, and the reason I have is I actually just wrote this week about Cleveland and Tanner Bybee, and I promise this is related. So stick with me here for a second. But Cleveland, of course, a team that has run away with what turned out to be is it really the best division of baseball? I don't know, but you can make an argument, right? They had 4 teams still pushing for a postseason spot. We know what happened with Minnesota. Cleveland and Milwaukee finished 28th and 29th in quality starts this season, and they are both comfortable division champs.
That's unreal.
The Mariners, I think, had 10 more quality starts than any other team. Led baseball in ERA. And they got eliminated on an off day.
That old baseball axiom at play.
Yes.
Starting pitching really isn't that important.
Yeah, right. Starting pitching wins championships is what I've always been told.
Right.
It's such a. I don't know if you know or follow Dave Softy Mahler, who's a radio host in Seattle, and he is He's a legend. We've had him on many times. His Twitter yesterday was like must read, and he basically was like, "This is the biggest failure in Mariners history."
Can you ever see yourself tweeting about the Padres the way he tweets about the Mariners?
I've said some things that have made them mad, I'm sure, but that was
he does it on the regular.
On the reg, that was that. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta sting so bad. Again, when it's easier to make the playoffs than ever, and you got that, you have those aces, and you feel like all we got to do is get there, and we're gonna be fine. Nobody's hitting these guys. It's just brutal, man. Brutal.
Yeah. I don't know if it's better or worse that they've had one of the best offenses in baseball in September.
It's probably worse.
Like, does that make it, like, honestly, as someone who cares about this team, I was like, can you just roll over and be done? Like, I thought they were heading towards what would have been a 5th time being eliminated in the final weekend in the last 10 years. And instead they got eliminated on Thursday, which is not much better. So I guess it technically doesn't count. But I mean, yeah, this is but it just speaks to, what happened in the middle of the summer and how bad the offense got. You still look at the names and it doesn't totally make sense as to how bad it got so fast and how they were able to lose the division lead that they had. But that's what happened, and they're one of several teams. I think there are some parallels with Minnesota as they were eliminated yesterday, just in terms of a franchise that had been looking to finally take a step forward. The Twins and their playoff drought last year, and it's like, wow, what a good feeling. What's to come next year?
Yeah.
And I mean, their collapse was, I mean, you could argue whether it's worse than Seattle's or not, but it was much later. Seattle's was gradual. Minnesota had 90-something% playoff odds a couple weeks ago.
They're out now.
Technically, they're still alive. Their elimination number is 1.
They need. Yeah,
they need to sweep, and they need one of the 2 teams to get swept ahead of them, I believe.
Yes, which seems unlikely, but hey, White Sox are hot, so we'll see. But yeah, that's so they are essentially toast, and we don't have to do the full eulogy on the Twins, but I think both of those teams are in situations where you look at the rosters and you're like, all right, there's some good things happening here, but sometimes that makes fans even more frustrated than the teams that are nowhere near it.
Talking to Jordan Schusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue, and I'll have to say, personally, it was almost hard for me to watch the A's game yesterday and the celebrations around it because it was just so familiar. The A's and the Chargers, about the same amount of time in their cities, 56, 57 years.
It was tough.
In San Diego and in Oakland. And I remember the pain a little too recently of the Chargers leaving. We didn't have a last game. I mean, we had the thought that it could be the last game, but they hadn't officially announced it until after they played the last game. They just up and left.
One that it really felt like it, and
We
then they
did.
actually came back and played
And
one
then they
more
played
season,
another
and
year.
nobody cared at that
Yeah,
point.
and no one cared. But so it was a little different scenario. But just watching it was, to me, it was gut wrenching. It was gut wrenching seeing those fans there.
The little kid crying, dude, got me, man.
Yeah, I showed that on TV.
12-year-old kid, just
the signs, the
losing
the pain of it all. Your just thoughts on what went down yesterday and the whole Tawdry situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a memorable day for all the wrong reasons, but also obviously a lot of things that are heartening and inspiring and cool about that fan base. But it's the reason why we spent the first 20 minutes of our show this morning talking about it, instead of all the postseason stuff, because it is so significant. 2 things that you hit on there that I think are important, and we mentioned this on the pod we recorded this morning. The first is, this is not to downplay the pain of any city losing any team, right? But it's not an insignificant point that this is the last team standing in Oakland, right? That they've already lost 2 others recently and have had to say goodbye to those other teams. That just made it all the more painful, right? And again, it doesn't make it, losing the Chargers hurt any less, but you still got this fun baseball team that is almost the antithesis of the A's experience when we talk about ownership and investment and fan response and all those things. But the other thing that you just said is in terms of the kids, right? Like, that's an interesting dynamic here, because so much of the memories and the talk about the responding to this is the older generations who have grown up going to these games. But then you think about as you mentioned, the 10-year-olds who are there crying, who have maybe also been growing up going to these games for just a short amount of time, and they're just watching something that they won't ever get to experience like their parents or their grandparents did. And so that's a whole other level of difficult thing to kind of swallow. That is there's just so many different generations that are impacted by it. So I'm obviously with you guys. It was very difficult to watch. And as someone who is very disconnected, who's only been to the Coliseum once and can't even pretend to understand what it's like to be from Oakland, it was still pretty powerful to me too.
Talking to our pal Jordan Schusterman from Cespedes Family Barbecue, and I was just thinking about it all day yesterday. It takes a special person to put your head down and plow through all of the hate. And I don't mean a special person like in a good way. Like, you have to be borderline sociopathic to be like, yeah, I know literally everyone hates me. And
Ice cold.
Just the cold. And I realize you got to make business decisions in your life. We've all had to make business decisions. They're not always easy. But nothing like that, where you draw the ire.
I disagree, though. I think it's more oblivious. You just have to be completely oblivious.
How can you be an owner of a team and be oblivious to reality?
Because you didn't make your own money. You inherited it. You didn't do anything to get it. You never lived a real life, and you're oblivious. You're just oblivious.
Wow. I land somewhere in between you two, because I think Ben's point is spot on, that like, people like that often they just don't have the perspective, but the intentionality to avoid the degree to which to avoid people talking. I mean, this has been true. This was true for years before all of this started to crumble, let alone what has happened over the last couple of years. That's what is truly upsetting. And I wouldn't say makes it notably different. There are definitely other owners in the league who are not investing in their team, who are also very quick to kind of hide behind a lot. I mean, again, we don't have to start naming names. They're not the only one, but obviously in this case, it is a pretty special level of special, as you said, in the worst way possible, level of greed and intense commitment to just plowing ahead. Which, by the way, guys, plowing ahead to what? There are still so many unanswered questions about what is happening next. And that is where, when the dust settles and when the tears have been wiped and we're just like, okay, we've said goodbye, we're still looking around like, are we really about to play in Sacramento for 3 years? Like, I don't know. Would we be shocked if you just mentioned, they still ended up playing another game in San Diego of the Chargers. Would we be stunned if the A's play another game in the Coliseum? I won't. Like, I really, and it's no inside information, but just like understanding the reporting around what's going on in Sacramento and how many hurdles they still have to clear there, let alone when anything would be ready in Las Vegas. That's the other really difficult part, is just how messy it could get moving forward, let alone how bad it's already been.
Just another feather in the cap for Rob Manfred's tenure. It's
like high diving into a pool that they're still filling, and like you're hoping that by the time you land, there'll be water in it.
That's the thing.
Exactly right.
Again, this would all be painful enough if they had a brand new stadium ready in Las Vegas for opening day 2025, right? But with multiple years of unknowns ahead of us, that's what is even more insulting, I think, about the just plow, as you mentioned, plowing through to make sure something happens that we don't even know what it is.
Terrible, man.
I will add, our boss Adam in the chat says, there's no way John Fisher's oblivious to how everyone feels. Oh, he hears the hate. He sees it. But what he thinks that the people who matter, like the other owners, think he's really savvy and smart and he's taking advantage of a great business opportunity. And the people that matter really respect him. They don't. That's what he's oblivious to. They don't. They're just not going to put up a fight because they don't want another owner to stop them from doing whatever they wanted to do. So they're not going to stop that owner from doing what he wants to do. Probably thinks
they're going to move to Vegas, have a waiting list for season tickets.
Yeah, that's where he's oblivious. Just like when the Chargers moved and thought, we're going to be beloved in Los Angeles. And that was never the case, and it never has been the case.
I get mad when some guy with the handle of like Mike 497600004976 is mean to me. You know what I mean? I can't imagine an entire city. Like, if you walk out on the street, like, I will kill you. Like, it's gnarly. Like,
I turn on TV. Jeff Passan is just
roasting
you.
I would be like, I'd be living in a shack in Montana or something. It's just nuts. And
and he has been hiding. Again, we don't see a lot of it. But to your point, I think that's the other thing about it that's hard to wrap your mind around is that statement that he puts out earlier this week. And it's like, who is this for? Are you really thinking that people are reading this statement that says we tried and being like,
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll give
you're
you a
right.
pass.
They did.
You're right.
All right. All right. I'll stop being angry. It's just like that last ditch effort, that last ditch kind of show of an ounce of shame, which is really what I read that statement as, is like at least a modicum of feeling like oops, probably made some people pretty upset here. But we're way too far past the point of return for $1 million.
And the fans are the ones that pay the price. As usual. So, dude, thank you so much. Sorry about your M's. It happens. We know it all too well here in San Diego. But, listen, set up nicely for next year. A lot of these guys coming back, so you get some bats and change the narrative up there in Seattle a little bit. But I know you guys are going to be on everything going on in the playoffs, so we really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Always fun, guys.
Thanks,
Talk to you soon.
Jordan Schusterman, Cespedes Family Barbecue, our weekly segment brought to you by our friends at Grand Ole Barbecue in North Park, Flint Springs, and at the ballpark. Try the brisket. It is absolutely amazing. And I feel some empathy for the people who had to work it all through that season.
Oh, dude. Mark Kotze's of the world.
Yeah,
like
players,
the players,
broadcasters.
Our beloved Jessica Kleinschmidt, Dallas Braden, Jenny Kavnar. These are all people we know.
If you really want to be hardcore, you should go, well, they should all just quit in protest and show that they're not on board with this. They shouldn't work for the A's. It's not that simple.
You wouldn't do it if you had a family to support. Everyone loves to take that moral high ground until, hey, I got mouths to feed too.
Operator, the grounds crew.
Oh, the grounds crew.
The grounds crew guy has been there for like 31 years and was
man.
like being consoled on the field as he prepped the field for the last time out of a job. It's so painful. So painful.
Yeah,
and
it was tough.
way too raw still.
I love
after what is it, 7 years since the Chargers have left? Still painful for me.
I love Kotze. I thought, what a perfect man for the job. His players, by the way, adore him. They adore him. It'd be nice to see another team come in and take him away so that he does not have to go manage in Sacramento next year and the years beyond that. Now, I think if it was Vegas, you're like, all right, it's coming next year. I can handle this, and we'll, new team, new stadium, and we'll do it. But 3 more years of basically purgatory until something may not happen in Las Vegas, he doesn't deserve that.
We still have some audio if you want to play from Dallas Braden.
Oh, yeah, this is good.
Which was good from yesterday. So get to that. And the Padres going on the offensive for Jackson Merrill when we come back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, here we go.
Flag 17 on.
That is my note.
All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, here we go.
Flag 17 on.
That is my note.
All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
It was nice that the Oakland A's got to win that last game for the fans, 3-2 over the Texas Rangers yesterday. Very impressed that the crowd was sold out. Again, it's distasteful, though, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I saw, the thank you, Oakland, streaming on the ribbon signs. Well, if you really wanted to thank Oakland, you know what you could do? Don't move the team.
Keep them there.
Don't act like you're appreciating your fans while you're stabbing them in the back with your other hand. The whole thing to me was distasteful, and
It always
I
is.
didn't like it.
It always is.
Other
It's
than
never clean, man.
A couple of really great moments yesterday. Mark Akatse and his wife Jamie walking
best.
out to center field one last time, where Mark played for the A's out there, and just having that moment. And I saw that moment on social media, and I thought the broadcasters, Woods, did the best that they could given the circumstances
all year. All year. I talked to Jessica Kleinschmidt a couple months ago. I did a little hit for her, talking about Padres and talked to her kind of off the record, not off the record, but off the air about how difficult has it been. She's like, it's been very, very difficult. You hear what everyone's saying, and but you want a job. You want to keep a job, and you want to pay your bills, and this is your life's passion. And I don't fault Dallas Braden, Jenny Kavnar, Jessica Kleinschmidt, Mark Kotze, any of the players that are just out there doing their jobs every day. It falls on a couple of different people. It falls on John Fisher, and it ultimately falls on Rob Manfred, and his desire to please every owner, even when there's no plan in place. If there's a plan in place, we're talking about a different story altogether. Still, not a great story at all. But if there's Rob, look, I've got financing for this stadium. We're breaking ground. We got construction. I've got season tickets already ready to go, blah, blah, blah. There's none of that.
From what I've understood, it would be pretty easy. There would be buyers for the team that want to keep the team in Oakland and would likely be able to find a stadium solution that are not named John Fisher. The problem is that no owner in sports, unless there's a giant scandal like Donald Sterling, no owner ever wants to force out another owner. You know why?
It happened to you.
They don't want it to happen to them. So, they will turn their backs on the fans in order to make sure that they're never the next guy in the crosshairs. If we do it to you, well, then it could happen to me. So they never say, you're out. But would it be better for baseball if John Fisher was out? Of course.
Bob Nutting,
of course.
yes.
It would be
Dick
better
Manfart, yes.
if they were out. But they're never going to just say, you have to sell your team, because that then opens them up to someone else saying, well, you know what? I don't like the way you've been running your team. You have to sell your team. So it never goes down that road. But that would be the easy solution. Make him sell the team to someone who cares and wants to keep the team in Oakland.
It's like anything, man. I would have a hard time spending that much money on something that I didn't love, that I wasn't committed to loving. Committed to. Like, if I'm spending that much money on a baseball team, that's my team, and I'm going to break my back and my neck to make sure we win. At taking money out of my pocket, absolutely. Like, I want to win. That's what you're in that game for. And once you're in it to just make money, that's where you lose it a little bit. But I just think, there are certain people that are meant to be owners and certain people that aren't. But it's not like you can vet them and be like, how much do you really desire winning? It just, listen, there's a part of me that also sees when teams make decisions and you go, I don't like it, but I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. Cutting this guy or whatever. Like, you have to make business decisions as well. It's not an easy thing to do, being the owner of a team, certainly, but just don't know how you lay your head down at night going, just ripped the soul out of an entire city and in a sport that they love.
And Peter Seidler, of course, did it so well. Yeah. It is not easy, though, because he took on a lot of risk. If the fans didn't show up, if the team, didn't have a nice, run in 2020 and then 2022, would have gone pretty poorly, overall. But, it's worked out really well. But there are risks that are involved. Now, Dallas Braden, is he going to go to Sacramento? Have they said what they're going to do, like some of these people with the team and the A's?
I got to wonder, a lot of times, very similar to what happened here. Our broadcasters for the Chargers going to move up there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, are you a San Diego Charger or are you a Charger?
Right.
Is Dallas Braden an Oakland A or is he an A?
Right.
And it's tough.
Change the team. You should change the name.
Well, they're just going to be the A's.
The A. Well, you should change that.
Well,
too.
I think they should. Like they did with the Browns.
Yeah, be the Grizzly Bears or something. Just
save the name for the city. If there ever is an expansion team
they can come back
comes
as
back,
the A's.
they can come back as the A's. Just like the Browns came back as the Browns. Chargers' name should have been left here.
Yeah.
But,
100%.
they don't even want to make the owner leave the name. Not only will they not make him sell, they won't even make him leave the name in Oakland. That's how little they want to upset the apple cart with their fellow owners.
Blackjacks.
Yeah, something.
I know you wanted to play some of Dallas's comments.
Yeah, play some of this from
yesterday.
My oldest daughter read Goodnight Oakland to our family. And she started to cry. And she started to ask, does that mean Sissy doesn't get to go to the Coliseum? I said, no, sweetheart, Sissy's been to the Coliseum. And we get to take her one more time. She asked, Daddy, one more time? Does that mean no more? And we haven't gotten there yet.
This is the lasting image that I think a lot are going to take from this place, your girls included, who got to soak up one last game today, and that's this crowd, this sold-out, passionate crowd.
Amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. You know the Good Night books? Good Night Moon. We've got all the...
Oh, my parents read them to me many times when I was little.
Good night, Ben.
Good night, stars.
So sweet.
Good night, clock.
I'm going to do Chat GPT and see if they'll write a Good Night Ben and Woods book for us, and then we can read it to our kids. And you guys, tier ones, you can read it to your children. Good night, Ben and Woods. With Ben in his kerchief and Woods in his cap.
That's a Christmas song.
It's a Christmas thing.
All right, I still want to get to Jackson Merrill. There does seem to be a troubling late push again toward Paul Skeens on the Rookie of the Year, and the Padres are pushing back. Get to that and a Ryle report, some headlines coming up before Trevor Hoffman joins us at the top of the hour. Do not go anywhere. The Hall of Fame closer joining Ben and Woods coming up on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
You want it now?
Yeah, let's just go.
In the great big studio where the radio hums, there's Ben with his laughter and Woods with the drums. Good night, bright microphones. Good night, comfy chairs. Good night, all the listeners who send in their prayers. Good night, baseball season with players and games. Good night, home runs soaring and cheers that we claim. Good night, little bobbleheads on the shelves up high. Good night, all the stories that make our hearts fly. Good night, clever banter and jokes that we share. Good night, inside secrets and the fun that we dare. Good night, sunny mornings with coffee in hand. Good night, sweet reflections on life's wild demand. Good night, clever callers with thoughts of their own. Good night, every whisper in our radio home. Good night, Ben and Woods, as the evening drifts by. Good night to the laughter under the soft sky. Good night, dear listeners, with dreams bright and bold. We'll see you tomorrow, Monday, for Stories Retold. Sleepy? You sleepy? You sleepy? Night-night, Ben. Night-night.
You're good at that. I was thinking
You've had more recent practice.
Maybe I would have the better good night Ben and Woods voice.
Why
but
did you think that?
Well, you've just kind of got that.
Because you're a massive egomaniac.
Better than I thought. I mean, normally people say you've got a really nice voice, Ben.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I get that a lot.
All right.
But you did a really nice job.
I read a lot of bedtime stories.
You wrote all of that.
That didn't
just in
suck nearly as bad as I assumed it was. Going to with you reading it.
It's always like he's like the Dave Roberts in here. He's like, well, I mean, they didn't beat us, we beat ourselves. I mean, it's just can never just say that was really good, man.
I told you I was impressed. I bet your kids fall asleep without any problems every single night.
Most of the time they do. But yeah, we read every night. So it's fun now because my 6-year-old is actually reading, and that's actually the fun part. He reads to me, which is way better. But yeah, the old good night, Ben and Woods. We can put it in the merch store if you want.
Saw someone in our chat who said, well, with Jackson Merrill slumping and Paul Skeens continuing on a roll, has the tide shifted back? I didn't notice a Jackson Merrill slump. I mean, he went 0 for yesterday, but he scorched the ball. I mean, he's still Jackson Merrill. He's hitting 290 something. I mean, the numbers are still there.
Yeah,
correct?
I saw the same comment, and I go, have I been watching? I mean, he's not Shohei right now, but nobody is, and I'm looking at his game logs: 2 hits, 1 hit, 2 hits. He's whatever. It's I don't see a.
So
the rise is slumping.
I did
That's a
click
slump.
on The Athletic this morning. Jason Stark had all his award winners. He picked Skeens over Merrill. Now, he doesn't have a Rookie of the Year vote. He has a Cy Young vote, I believe. But it seems like I've seen a couple of Skeens over Merrill picks recently. It's going to be close. And with that in mind, the Padres went on the offensive yesterday. Social media sending out like email blasts to media across the country, basically pitching Jackson Merrill for Rookie of the Year. Like, this is when the baseball writers will cast their votes this weekend. And
This is it?
Yeah.
When will we know the results?
Not until after the season's over. But it'll be done. You can't change your vote after this weekend. They will send them in by Sunday night, and they will have decided who the Rookie of the Year is. So they sent out an email yesterday pointing out that entering today, Jackson Merrill's 5.1 FWAR ranks 20th in the majors, leads all Major League rookies ahead of Paul Skeens' 4.2 FWAR. That ranks 35th in the majors, second among rookies. Merrill leads all MLB rookies in games played, average, home runs, RBI, slugging, OPS, total bases, total hits, and extra base hits. He also ranks in the 90th plus percentile in several advanced metrics league-wide, including XBA, X-Slug, XWOBA, fielding outs above average, and arm strength. He has played 100 and now 56 games after yesterday. Paul Skeens has played 22. It's not necessarily Paul Skeens' fault. He's a pitcher. That's what he's supposed to do. He wasn't called up until May. I still think you have to give it to Jackson Merrill, but people are starting to slide back into the Skeens camp. And I think it's going to be incredibly close when the final vote's in.
I do too. And he's nasty, but I really don't care. I don't care.
I only care because I want the Padres to get that draft pick. And that's probably why they're going on the offensive, by the way.
Yeah.
AJ Preller, hey, we get a draft pick. Hey, PR department, can you do whatever you can to sway the voters at the last minute? Because we want that additional compensatory pick at the end of the first round. Pirates don't get it. They didn't bring Skeens up at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Padres would get it if Jackson Merrill wins Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Just want to win playoff games. That's what I want. And Jackson does too, so I'm good with it. He deserves it. He plays so many games. He's he's been indispensable for this team. Like him last night, there was a moment. David Peralta thinks that it's a foul ball down the line when he's running first to third, and there was time was called, thank God, but he started to run
it was
back
a ground
to
rule double,
first.
so
the time was called. So he starts to run back to first. Jackson Merrill, 21-year-old rookie, is looking at 36-year-old David Peralta, pointing at his head. Use your head. Hey, smarten up, bud. Giving him the freight train. Use your head. It's amazing. It's amazing what he's done. I think he's energized everybody in that clubhouse, and he's a leader on that team. No question about it. It's partly his team. I mean, if he talks, those guys are going to listen because he does it the right way every single day, and he's out there every single day. He's learning from veterans how to post every single day, take care of his body every single day, make adjustments on the fly. He's elite. Paul Skeens is also very elite. Paul Skeens will be watching. I love Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens will be watching the playoffs with his very attractive girlfriend in Cabo San Lucas. Jackson Merrill will be playing in the playoffs. I think you have to take that into account.
I agree. All right, Trevor Hoffman coming up in 15 minutes.
Go.
Between now and then, we turn things over to Paulie right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by MTS, reminding that trolleys run every 15 minutes or better. Well, happy to report no incidents or accidents this time around, guys. In fact, looks like things are starting to wind down pretty nicely around the county. Just a reminder, today is the first day of the Miramar Air Show. So, yeah, that's some exciting stuff. If you want to see all the acrobatics, please don't even think about stopping along one of the freeways to watch. Yeah, go to the actual air show, because if you try stopping on the freeway, you might be ticketed for that. Don't let traffic drag your day down, whether headed to the office or game day. Go the easy way with MTS. Trolleys run every 15 minutes or better throughout the day. Learn more and plan your trolley trip at sdmts.com. That's sdmts.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Ryle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Ryle Report with Paul Ryle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Ryle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Good morning.
Morning.
There was football on last night.
Oh, there was.
Did you
I
guys
watched a little bit.
I watched
you guys watch any?
a touch.
Thursday night
It wasn't a great
football,
game.
Giants hosting the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I missed all of that game.
I had the Cowboys -5.5, and they won by
20-15.
Won by 5. Missed a field goal there.
I got some ESPN fantasy sports notifications on my phone because
Yep.
CD Lamb playing.
I noticed who was taking on each other in the fantasy league this week.
Who is it?
You and you.
Oh, it's me v you?
And the
Oh,
Rowley
great.
Roaches
Well, suck
against the Dorcher Chamber.
The Dorcher Chamber.
I am going up against my nemesis, Derek Togerson, this week. So I had Dak yesterday. He was okay. I mean,
Nobody
2
cares.
touchdown
No one
passes.
cares at all. Not even slightly.
Not even when you two are playing each other in fantasy?
No,
you don't even
no.
realied it? Did you neither of you know who you were playing?
I had no idea.
Wow, you really take this not that seriously.
Correct.
Told you I wouldn't.
Fair enough. You did. You were transparent about that.
So, yeah, Thursday night football. There's your
Cowboys won.
Cowboys won. I think Benny. Speaking of football, 9:00 hour. Are you going to give us a Ben's Ultimate Saturday
Indeed,
viewing
I will.
schedule?
Indeed, I will. Get you ready for tomorrow. before the Padres game. Lots of college football watching to be done.
Beautiful.
Some really good games tomorrow, actually.
All right, I got 2 more stories, and I had Woods in mind for both of them, actually. So we will start with NBA Media Day.
Oh, my favorite. I didn't miss it. I didn't.
How come
miss
we're not
a
broadcasting
second.
live from
Oh.
NBA Media Day as we traditionally do?
What team would we do?
Oh, they can't just do a generic NBA Media
No,
Day for everybody?
Every team has their own Media Day. Yeah, it's not like
Not like at a convention.
It's not like Mountain West Media Day in
Right.
Vegas, the whole NBA. Yeah, no, they don't do it like that. No, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I just got some funny audio. So Nikola Jokic, the Joker, maybe the best player in the NBA, certainly a top 3. He's also very funny. We've played clips in the past. He's like, I don't want to go to parade. I just want to go home and be
I want
with
to
my
go home.
horses."
Yeah, he
Like,
just wants to be home with his horses.
He's a funny guy, and there was a very funny moment when he took the podium yesterday. He was not thrilled to be there in the slightest.
Nicola, welcome back. First and foremost, this is your 10th media day of your career. It's a round number. Like, what do you remember about maybe your first or second media day coming around here? Just has anything changed at all?
No, every year is the same thing, and I don't know why we're doing it every year. Everything is the same, completely the same thing. So,
Has maybe your
Nicola, one thing that has changed on Media Day, you have a very strong beard or
Rocking a
goatee.
goatee.
I was wondering if you're planning on keeping that, and do you like the menacing look?
I need more compliments, Marlon, more compliments.
To scare the opposition.
Yes, that's changed, yeah. But it's going to go probably away pretty soon.
That's changed, but it's probably going to go away.
That's basically Nicola's version of I'm just here so I don't get fined.
They would find me if I didn't come.
He's
I
the
have to be
Stephen
here.
Woods in the NBA.
He really is. They're here at the round table today so that I don't get fined.
We've done 15 of them. Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
But he's not like a dislikable fellow.
No, he's super likable.
He's just
super likable.
He just doesn't want to do the eye wash, the stupid stuff. He's like, why are we doing this?
Guy just wants to play basketball. I just want to do this show. That's it. I just want to do radio with you guys. That's it.
And finally, I guess it's been reported. I think we talked about this.
We did
a few weeks ago.
I'm
Lana Del Rey,
I'm
Woodsy's
sick.
beloved.
I'm sick.
She there were reports that she was dating just a regular Joe, just some regular guy.
Probably he's like an alligator tour guide.
Yeah, and I saw
from Louisiana.
Was it real? The texts that were going around of a girl that was like, "This is how I found out my dad is dating Lana Del Rey."
I think so.
She's like, "Dad, is that you in this picture?" He's like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, she was. She went to Louisiana, and they went on like an alligator tour, and she found the guy charming or whatever, and he doesn't look like the type to be dating a young ingenue, a very sexy, breathy little angel like her, and he got her.
They're married.
They got married. Yeah. So there was
Reportedly.
the report that she was dating him, and then that was like cold water was thrown on it, and then they found out that they got a marriage license, and then there's a picture of her dad walking her down the aisle. And I'm sitting here, and I used to tell Hannah all the time, I could get her. I swear I could get her.
Jeremy Dufresne. She's 39.
Jeremy Dufresne.
He's 49. So 10 years apart. And they were married.
Man, good for him.
According to this report, they exchanged vows in, I don't know how to say, De Alamandes, Louisiana, of course.
Dalamondes.
Alamandes.
I have no idea.
Thursday. Documented in photographs and video obtained by the Daily Mail.
I had a friend that texted me once, says Lana Del Rey is down here at like the saloon in Encinitas. And I was married, and I said, I would like to go down there. And I said, absolutely not. I think she knew somewhere.
She knew you had a shot, actually.
If this guy had a shot, I feel like all of us had a shot.
Says they met in 2019 when he gave her and her friends a tour, an alligator swamp tour.
He's like the Cajun guy. Like he probably talks in that like Cajun. Yeah, no, come on now. You know? She's like, oh, I'm all the way in.
Did he make her
You had
some
your
gumbo?
chance.
And it
It's
was
just insane.
the key to her heart.
I
or
think it's
something?
it's a good rule of thumb.
She goes
Don't
through-
ever count yourself out.
She goes on red carpets, award shows.
Yes, super famous.
Like huge superstar.
This guy's down there
And she falls
alligator
for a
wrestling.
50-year-old
This is why that guy from Victorville continues to shoot his shot. He may be the next Mr. Del Rey.
Jeremy, what is it, Dufresne?
Yeah, Dufresne.
Just killed me, man.
Yeah.
I saw it yesterday. I go, I'm heartbroken.
I was like,
but I'm also very happy for
when
him.
the reports first started coming out a few weeks ago. I was like, there's got to be more.
There's gotta be a bit.
This is somebody is pulling something quick here, and then yeah, they are married.
Married.
Good for him.
Good for him. As long as she's happy, that's all I really care about. That's all I've ever really cared about is her happiness.
Tour guide, like alligator tour guide.
Yes. Like in the
I'm
swamps
thinking like
and
the
stuff.
Jungle Cruise at Disneyland.
No, like
kind
in the
of, but no,
swamps
like
of
a real
Louisiana.
version, though.
Yes.
It's very bizarre.
Man, dude.
Yeah.
It really kind of ruined my day yesterday. And then you had the Dodger game on, and I was like, this is just really a crap day for your old pal Woods in here. But I wish her happiness and looking forward to her next album.
You know, something that always makes us all a little happier? Trevor Hoffman.
Oh, always. Love him so much.
He's a shot of energy to start our final hour of the week. The Hall of Famer will be with us. We can talk about the Padres bullpen, the playoffs upcoming, everything that's going on with Trevor in place of Mike Schilt, who'll be on later. We'll give you all the details of that coming up. Just don't go anywhere. More Ben and Woods on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Anytime I get a chance to hear the walkout music for Ryan and Helsley, I get so excited. It really pumps me up.
Oh, you know what that means. Before we bring on our Hall of Fame guest, quick
Hack.
programming
What a hack.
note.
Hack.
Normally, 9 a.m. on Fridays is when you hear our manager's report brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking, it's better. But because of the very late arrival last night, Mike Schilt's going to go on with Tony this afternoon. And Brandon Lockridge is going to be on with Annie and Elston coming up. But we have the pleasure of welcoming back to Ben and Woods, number 51, the Hall of Fame closer for the San Diego Padres. Trevor Hoffman is with us here on a Friday morning. Trevor, it's always great to talk to you. Welcome back to 97.3 The Fan.
Good morning, boys. Great to spend the morning with you here. I'm glad I could fill in for Schilty a bit. I'm wondering if he wore an outfit being a rookie manager for the Padres.
Oh, they have.
Night.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that. Yeah, they had the Jackson Merrill and the rookies dressed up as Friars, right, last night?
Yeah, they wouldn't have done it to him, but he's not a rookie manager by any means. I mean, he's setting records for 90 wins in a row and stuff like that. So we don't have to worry about that with him. But yeah, I think last night they had some fun with a couple of the rookies.
You know, I always love talking to Schilty, but after last night's game, I was like, we'll let Tony get a crack at him today, and we get a chance to talk to Hoffy today. So I was like, this works out great for me.
Hoffy, why did you have Jackson Merrill bunts? Sorry, no, that's
wrong guy.
He got the wrong sign.
Yeah, he missed the sign. Rookies, as a rookie will be known to do. How's everything in your world, my friend?
Everything's good. Getting excited about October for the boys. I think really just the beauty of baseball. It's a long season. It's a grind. You see the ups and downs. We talked about roller coaster rides at the beginning of the season. The guys seem to catch their stride, and we're talking about one of the best records out of the All-Star break. So it's kind of fun to see these guys punch their ticket the other night and start focusing on the postseason.
So on the show earlier this week, I kind of just was speaking from the heart after they clinched the playoff spot about feeling like there's something magical and maybe from above this year with Peter Seidler, all the amazing, the comebacks, the walk-offs, just the moments that they have experienced. And as a Padres fan for my whole life, not something I'm really used to, Trevor, but there was one season that was pretty magical. It was your 1998 Padres. And I wanted to get your opinion, kind of comparing the vibe between 1998, I remember like a Steve Finley walk-off grand slam, and like 2 or 3 weeks into the season, and that you felt something special going on that year. And this year you felt something special going on with the Padres. How do you kind of compare those two teams?
Yeah, I think we felt like we had the potential in spring training in '98, and it was just a matter of kind of coming together as a group. We knew we had enough in the tank, or enough in the stable, we'll say, with players to have a great year. Where I feel like, as you mentioned, having Peter's legacy and what he stands for and stood for really be a shining light for this group and be an impetus to fight for a guiding hand and Schilty over the season and what AJ was able to put together and some of the things that he had to to do. They're similar. We were kind of panicking in September. We were kind of, oh my gosh, how are we going to right the ship? Almost like the Royals are feeling and the Twins, and being able to get in was big for us. But honestly, this group has been pretty tight knit for the whole year. I think that the fact they're hitting their stride from the second half on was key. You could see kind of them coming together throughout the year, and it's just been a lot of fun to watch them. The fans have been incredibly supportive, showing up day in, day out, setting records for attendance. Just a lot of things have really come together.
It's been a blast to cover this year, Trev. I ran into you at the gym and told you the same thing. It's just been incredible to cover, and it's flown by because they've played such good baseball, and not only good baseball, it's an enjoyable watch. And, we have this discussion all the time, and mostly with people that are real knee-jerk. You can't be real knee-jerk in baseball. You just can't. And you can speak to this a little bit, whether it's, potentially losing your closer's role or I'm a little banged up, but I feel like I can help the team win. I'm talking, of course, about Manny earlier in the season, Luis Ariz right now with his thumb. Guys like that, guys like you, guys like Robert Suarez, you're not going to right the ship by taking days off. You're just not, right? Like that's you guys. If you feel like you can play and help the team, you're gonna be out there.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's a responsibility you have to post. 50% Manny is better than 100% of somebody else sometimes, and so you understand that need to be in the lineup, but it's going to take everybody. We saw the contributions from Solano and Peralta at different types of the year, and now Donovan's a full-time participant at first base. So like everyone takes on a different role, a different hat. Your stars need to be stars. You get contributions throughout the year in different phases and different times that have huge impacts on the team. But I think the one common denominator that I see out of this group is the fight. They just don't really quit.
Yeah.
Even when they're a few runs down late, there doesn't seem to be this panic or this just pack up the tent, let's go home. Like they're going to find a way to figure out a way to get it done, and they've done it so many times that you start to believe that. And when you do get enough times and enough teams have seen you do that, they start to wait for that rally to come on.
Trevor, I saw a backlash from some fans on Robert Suarez's entrance when they turn the lights out and everyone waves their phones around and they said, ever since they started that, he's been struggling, and they tried to make a connection. And I wanted to ask, because you had such the famous interest, if I'm remembering correctly, the first time they played Hell's Bells, you blew the save and it was the end of a long streak, right?
So yeah, it wasn't the first. I actually was a little surprised that the song played when it did. Was able to secure the save against Houston, but the next night,
that's right, the next one
was going for an ML record consecutive save streak and against the Astros. And the batter I struck out the night before, Moises Alou, on a nice changeup, I tried to sneak an 85-mile-an-hour fastball by him the next day, and it got deposited out left field. So yeah, there was a broach to say that the song was the problem, and we got to get rid of it. I'm like, look, if we're going to go that far, we're in trouble. But as it turned out, Hell's Bells, that Ryan song is famously known for, is great. I enjoyed using it before he had a chance to. But it certainly is just about it building over time, we'll say.
I'm just saying, if people had overreacted, we would have never had to. Oh no,
you've gotten it
he
twice.
Blew the save. We're never playing that again.
Would have gotten
that was
it
a
twice.
Mistake, and we would have missed out on something that became iconic and legendary. In fact, I remember that Moises Alou. That was a day game. I was at the gym. Yep. I was on a Stairmaster watching it on television. Can you imagine that? And I saw it happen. I remember that day, actually.
I can't.
Well, thankfully you didn't fall off the machine. That's a good thing.
By the way, speaking of the gym, when Woods said he ran into you at the gym, my first reaction was, wait, does Trevor know he's a Hall of Famer?
Right.
He's just going to the normal gym
with
us normal schlubs? That doesn't seem right, Trevor.
Man of the people.
You got to get your swell on everywhere, kid. It's important that you find a place to work out. Good for the body.
I was so happy that he was done with his workout, because I would have seen him in the gym, and then he would have watched me with a Hawkeye, like what I was doing. So I was like, come on, easy, Chubbs, get that 135 up a few times. I want to ask you though. I mean, so much of what you did in your career, yes, it's ability. Yes, it's heart, but a lot of it is confidence. And when your confidence gets rattled as a closer, and I'm not even saying Robert Suarez is. I don't know him. I haven't talked to him. He looks pretty confident. The velo's still there. What do you see as a guy that did this to a Hall of Fame level when you watch Robert pitch these days that maybe is a little bit different from when he was just on such a ridiculous run?
Yeah, he's definitely been a focus, and I credit the way he's handled it. I think you look at him and you can't really see a difference in how he approaches his inning and his job. Like you mentioned, his stuff and all the metrics around it are saying it's pretty similar. There might be a command issue at this point in time, but confidence is a huge thing in this game, and it's coming at maybe not the best time, but what an opportunity to turn the page.
Yeah.
It's something that's part of the job that you get used to, is turning the page in the postseason. It's almost like the pressure's off, like you're playing with house money in a sense that, you're now not looking at 162 to try and get through. You're looking at how can we get 13 wins, and we're going to play team baseball, whether it's an offense or a pitching standpoint. How do we get outs? How do we get runs across the plate? And so, there is a focus on Robert. His stuff and his year's been fantastic. It's nice that the addition of Scott and Adam and Hoeing coming from Florida are there. There might be some matchup things that'll happen. Robert's been in that position before with the Padres, so I think it'll be an interesting dilemma that Schilte's going to have to deal with.
For a closer, how different was the playoffs for you versus the regular season? I always thought, I mean, as a closer, you're always coming in a pressure situation.
Always, yeah.
So you're probably more set for the playoffs. And obviously, Trevor, you had your successes in the playoffs. You had the ones that didn't work out for you. But, like, was there anything different about it for you in the playoffs versus the regular season?
I think the one thing was just familiarity of the hitter on the pitcher. Like, you just don't see guys as frequently in the regular seasons that you will see in series in the postseason. And so, you're trying to close things out. You're trying to get wins secured, regardless if it's, the first inning or the fifth inning or the ninth for that matter. And yet these at-bats that accrue up, these hitters are so good. And even though guys' stuff has gotten better, that they just are able to pick up little nuances, having had an at-bat yesterday or having an at-bat in the series in game one, and now I'm seeing them in game 3 days later. It's that familiarity is something that's a little bit different. I think, it's been out there, but it's been interesting to kind of, think about Maddox's 30 for 30 and how he talked about certain at-bats that he had with a Jeff Bagwell in the regular season, and how Eddie Perez was behind the dish and didn't want him to throw a certain pitch. And he ended up going deep, and he goes, we're going to face him in the postseason. He's going to be looking for that heater. He's never going to get it. And it worked out. And there was a similar interaction with, I think, T. Gwynn, where Tony said, I'd never seen him attack me in a certain way. And it wasn't until the postseason that happened, even though Tony had a 450 average against Greg in the regular season. So it's kind of those mind games. It's how the chess game is played at certain times, and you got to be ready on the fly.
Have you worked with Robert on his changeup? Because when he throws it, it can be pretty nasty. And if I would imagine if I've got you at my disposal, I'd try to wear you out about it at fantasy camp. You know what I'm saying? Like he used it, he got an out, got the final out with it last week or earlier in the week, and it can be pretty nasty. I had the theory that, like, what if he just rope-a-dopes everybody in the playoffs and he just goes 50% changeup, 50% fastball, becomes a completely different pitcher. Have you guys talked about his changeup?
We talked in spring training just about the philosophy of the pitch, and it's a plus pitch for him. There's no doubt. It's not something that maybe he's utilized throughout the year as much as maybe it will become a weapon here in the postseason, just because why mess with something that's working?
Yeah.
And so now that he's had a little bit of a hiccup, there might be a little bit of a change, but his bread and butter is 100-mile-an-hour heater. It's still hard to square up 100 miles an hour, and so I think he's going to be just fine. He's going to be a tremendous right-hand weapon for our bullpen late in the game, and it's going to be great to see him have success.
All right, Trevor, I was looking in our YouTube chat, and we have a Tier 1 who is a Padres fan from Austria, and his name is also Trevor, and he wrote in the chat, he said, "Let's go, Trevor." He said, "The reason my parents named me Trevor."
Look at that.
Have you realized that you've inspired first names, apparently, among Padres fans?
That's really cool. I know that my name, my mother was a big fan of Trevor Howard, the actor, and so I was named after somebody else as well. And it's a unique in a sense that it's a name that there's not 5 kids raising their hand at the beginning of the school year saying my name's Trevor and how do I move from there. But getting a chance to hear stories of kids being named after you is something special. They're not kids anymore; they're kind of young adults, so they start to feel your age a little bit, which kind of stinks. But I knew that when I was in trouble and they said my name, there wasn't another guy I could look at most of the time and say, "Hey, we share the same name." It's been a neat run.
Well, a very common name these days, Trevor, is Jackson.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Jackson.
Holiday, Churio, Merrill, Job just got brought up.
Well,
is every rookie in baseball a Jackson now?
I've got 2 on my little league team. I got to call by the way, one of those names is Jackson Brown. So I'm like, hey, doctor my eyes, get in the box, buddy. I don't. I got 2 Jacksons, both Jaxons, of course. But speaking of Jackson, Merrill, Paul Skeens, they're head-to-head, obviously. Now, you were a pitcher, and we talk to Brett Boone all the time. He always sides with the hitters. But, you've got some hometown loyalty here to the kid. Jackson, Merrill, or Paul Skeens, who is your vote?
Oh, Jackson, hands down.
Shocker.
What he's been able to do on a daily basis, a premier position. I mean, his numbers are sick. Like, just the power, the on base, the speed. I can't say enough about a young man never playing the position until this year. With the consistency that he's brought to his game. We got a chance to see it in the minor leagues. I mean, he was a big factor in Lake Elsinore's run a couple years back and winning that. Had a little bit of a bump in Fort Wayne, but to see his progression from there, like every time he was in spring training games, he never seemed overmatched. And, you know, to make that jump to the big leagues as seamless as he has, it's a credit to his work in the off season and the coaches around him, and, you know, just becoming a big leaguer. And pretty fun to watch him have that success.
Well, and the argument that a lot of people, including us, have been making, Jackson Merrill's played in 156 games. Paul Skeens has only appeared in 22. He's been really good in those 22 games. You are someone who lost a major award based on that argument, essentially. Tom Glavine had a really good 1998, nowhere near what you did, but voters said, yeah, but Trevor only pitched one inning at a time. Tom Glavine was a starter. He had more innings. That was more worthy of a Cy Young. You lost an award on this same argument that hopefully Jackson Merrill wins it on because he's posting every day.
Yeah, I think the breakdown in 98, too, was that Kevin Brown had a Cy Young caliber year as well. And so we ultimately could have split some votes and allowed some to go to Tom. But I think my bugaboo was being left off a certain number of ballots for whatever reason. Someone didn't feel, you know, I didn't do enough by being in a short role. So, you know, in this case, it is hard to compare a pitcher to hitter. You know, they're uniquely different. And they're uniquely valuable, as we will see how heavily we will rely on our starting pitcher in the postseason. It is. It's an important role, as is your 5-hole hitter and your center fielder. And so it's going to be hard for the voters to decide. Most of the people that are going to be up for this award as finalists will have had great years and put up great numbers. So I hope it goes to Jackson.
Trevor, as always, such a pleasure catching up with you. Looking forward to October. Hopefully we'll see you out at the ballpark, in the gas lamp, wherever, coming up in the next couple of weeks. But thank you so much for your time today.
Love it, guys. Thanks. Good luck, Pods, man.
Appreciate it. Let's go, Pods.
There he is,
Thanks,
the Hall
Hoffy.
of Famer, Trevor Hoffman, number 51.
My favorite guy, man. He's just the best, the coolest. He's
very, very cool.
They say don't meet your heroes. If Trevor Hoffman was your hero, meet him.
Meet him.
It's worth it.
Yeah, 100%.
And he will absolutely bring it in and welcome you like you guys are best friends.
He'll be more of your hero.
You'd literally never know that guy was in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's ever big leagued anyone. Seriously.
Not when you're running to him at the gym and he's just working out with everybody else on the machine, taking his turn on the machine.
Yeah.
All right. Love that guy. And if you missed it, Mike Schilt's going to join Tony and Scraby this afternoon. Give him a little extra rest after getting in very, very late, or very, very early, as it were, this morning in Arizona. And
what's up, my dudes? How you doing?
There he is. Not going to alibi it. Well, he's going to alibi it because he didn't get much sleep, so he's going to go ahead and skip, and it's later. It's fine. Give those guys a crack at Mike Schilt today.
Have fun.
All right, we got my Super Saturday lineup coming up in college football. Give you something to watch before the Padres and the Diamondbacks tomorrow. Get to that coming up next year after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Final weekend of the baseball season.
Yes, sir.
Regular season.
Regular
But we know
season.
the Padres will be playing next week. We just don't know against who, or possibly where, or what time. But we know everything else, that they will be playing next week. We'll talk more baseball in a couple of minutes. Thanks again to Trevor Hoffman for joining us. The Hall of Famer was fantastic as always. But since it is Friday and you do have some time to kill before the Padres play tomorrow night in Game 2 against the Diamondbacks, I have Ben's Super Saturday college football lineup for you, Woodsy. I know you love this segment.
Ben's
Super Saturday.
Super Saturday.
College football.
BSSC.
Super Sexy Saturday.
Super Sexy Saturday college football lineup.
Happy to add a little sexiness to it for you. Let's see. First off, if you want to get up early, starting the day, 9 a.m. on ESPN, we've got number 20 Oklahoma State at number 23 Kansas State. Now, this is a big game because both teams are 3-1, but they both lost their Big 12 opener. So it's practically kind of a playoff elimination game.
Yep.
Should be fairly evenly matched as well, so I'd expect pretty good game and a good entertaining way to start off your day. I'm actually intrigued, though. It's not a nationally focused game at 12:30, but on FS1, it's Fresno State at UNLV. So Fresno State's gotten off to a 3-1 start. Their loss was to Michigan, but they still have some dreams of being like, hey, win the Mountain West, be the playoff participant from the non-Power 4 schools. But UNLV, they're off to that 3-0 start. They lost their quarterback, though, in that NIL dispute we talked about earlier this week. Now, I don't know if you saw the story yesterday, but the CEO of Circa, Las Vegas, who is on TV all the time with his Circa Eliminator, Derek something or other, said, I'll pay the kid $100,000.
Amazing.
I want to see him.
I was waiting for that.
I want to see him keep quarterbacking UNLV. Is that all it takes? $100,000? Yeah, I got that in the couch here.
Somebody in Vegas has to have $100,000.
Yes,
right?
And he said, I don't know now. Is it just that simple? He's like, okay, I'm back in the lineup. Thanks a lot. And what kind of precedent does that then set for college athletics? Like, will you have players start to hold out and they're not getting paid? Oh, yeah, we've got the first game of the playoff this week. Boosters, would you like me to play? Here's my Venmo. Just start sending it to me. I mean, it's a dangerous precedent to set. This is all a subplot of the game. And don't forget, this is also the first matchup. UNLV just yesterday signed on the dotted line. They're staying in the Mountain West for big money. Fresno State, of course, one of the teams that's leaving the Mountain West for the Pac-12 with San Diego State, and now they're facing off against each other. Pretty interesting Mountain West matchup at 12:30 tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, and there's, obviously the money thing with the casino owner. That's not, it doesn't work that way. I can't just show up at his house and drop off a bag of money. He's like, all right, I can go back to practice now. I don't think it works that way.
Kind of might, though. That's the problem. There are no rules.
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Exchange of goods and services
it's like,
of some sort.
That you're going to come do marketing.
They can set that up so easily.
They could come out and do an appearance at Circa for $100,000
because it's gambling. Can the NCAA allow that?
Right.
I don't know, but I'm sure he's got another business here. Oh yeah, I also have a
laundromat
investment in this laundromat. Come show up for an hour at the laundromat and give you your $100,000.
I told you when I was a little kid, I read the Brian Bosworth biography in like 6th grade. It was called The Boz. It was amazing. When he went to OU, now this is before you could do this. This was completely shady. He said he used to make like $1,400 a day to watch the oil derrick go up and down. He would sit in his white Corvette that was given to him, and he would sit back and he would in his car and he would watch it go up and down for 4 hours, and he would make $1,400 a day doing that.
If it stopped going up and down, did he need to notify
I
someone?
would assume
perhaps?
so, but here's a tip: they never stop unless you want them to stop. So it was insane. It's always been insane. Now it's just insane, and it's out in public. They're doing the thing that they've always done, but now it's just public knowledge.
All right, the 4:30, this one was the obvious choice on ABC. Number 2, Georgia. At number 4, Alabama.
Wowzers.
Not much needs to be said. One of the better early season games you're going to encounter in a college football season. I think Paulie mentioned it earlier this week. What was the stat? Crimson Tide, a home underdog for the first time in
07, I think.
Yeah.
17 years.
Yeah.
So, but not by much. And obviously, that's going to be pivotal in deciding who has the early season control of the SEC. And then, if you really want to die-hard it, 7 o'clock FS1, you've got future Pac-12 rivals colliding. Washington State at number 25, Boise State. And this is the undefeated Cougs' chance to maybe take the Broncos spot in the top 25 if they can win on the road. So there's your lineup for your super sexy Saturday college football choices, courtesy of yours truly.
I see one really sexy game. Very sexy.
San Diego State at Central Michigan. 12:30 CBS Sports Net.
Fire up Chips.
The Chippewas.
Man, I have a soccer game I got to coach. Missed that high-powered offense, slinging it all over the
USD
field.
at Drake in the Pioneer League opener. Is that the one you're...
Oh, you skipped over the Irish, playing number 15 Louisville.
I gave him some consideration.
2 ranked teams.
I went with Fresno State, UNLV, but they are 2 ranked
good one,
teams.
too.
Yeah, but that's a Peacock game in the middle of the day.
Sure is.
I'm surprised that Notre Dame's already back up to, 17? Remember they lost to Northern Illinois?
Yes, I do remember that. Thanks for reminding me.
Usually they punish teams a little bit more for losses like that. Harder to get back into the top 25.
Irish by 7, I'll take Louisville and the points. Just can't get it going. That's a quarterback that was, they spent like $2 million on their quarterback.
Just quickly, so with the Mountain West teams all signing to stay, all 7 of them, And there's only 7 new Pac-12 teams. Both conferences are now in this race to like find at least one more school. According to reports, the Pac-12 is targeting Texas State to be their 8th team, whereas the Mountain West is going after Toledo or Northern Illinois to be their 8th team. None of it really makes much sense, but they're both left one team short of a real conference, and they're looking for someone else that can join them. Like Sacramento State is going, hey, we joined the Pac-12. They're not even a FBS football team. They say, yeah, but we'll build a stadium. We'll join FBS. Just put us in the Pac-12. Sacramento State wants to be in the Pac-12. Yikes.
A little different.
Yikes. All right, we'll come back. We'll look ahead to the Arizona Diamondbacks series, which still is important for the San Diego Padres. We'll review and revisit the ways in which the Padres do need to take care of some business this weekend
Ain't over
against
yet.
the Arizona Diamondbacks. It is not over yet for sure. We'll get to that coming up next.
Things
with
been
Ben
likes.
Woods
We have to do. We haven't done it in forever.
on 97.3 The Fan. All of that next.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
get to the preview of this weekend series, Benny, wanted to give a shout out to our friends over at the Lake Elsinore Storm. They are throwing or hosting a golf tournament. And yeah, they want some golfers out there. If you go to Thunder Cares Golf, you can. We'll post the link on our Twitter, but Thunder Cares Golf, and it's pretty cool. You can go out if you sign up to play golf. One person's going to be able to be picked randomly to get to go in and do color for a Storm game. So you sign up to play golf, that you could win that, which is pretty rad. They're obviously doing this for charity, working with kids in Riverside County, and yeah, great people over there at the Storm. And we said, yeah, we'd absolutely give it a mention for you. It's their golf tournament. It's going to be on October 14th, and they're starting check-in 7 a.m. Shotgun start at 8 a.m. Get in, get out, $200 a player. It's a really good deal. And go to Thunder Cares Golf.
That would be in the radio booth for next season, as this season's over. The Storm came within one win of a California League title. Lost the last game.
You would not like to do color. You would like to do play-by-play.
I would rather be the play-by-play guy.
not-
Well, I feel like I'm more suited for that.
Right. How so?
Well, usually the color commentator tends to be kind of an ex-player, an analyst.
Yeah.
Has more of kind of the inside knowledge of the game. Not that I don't have some, but I'm more of the describer of the action.
The play-by-play.
The play-by-play. Do play-by-play.
Yeah.
Every play, one after
Yeah, you're
the
the
other.
play-by-play on this show, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
All right, baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan, little play-by-play here, is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits, still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. What are the Padres playing for this weekend? We will spell it all out right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Ale Smith 394 Pale Ale. Couple of problems along the 15 in the North County on the southbound side. Right before the 78, reports of what looks like a shelving unit in the two left lanes and stalled cement truck on northbound 15 before Mira Mesa Boulevard. That's got the right lane blocked. Ale Smith 394 Pale Ale, the official rally pint of the playoff push. Catch all the San Diego baseball action this week at the Ale Smith Tasting Room in Miramar. Enjoy specials on 394 and more while you cheer on your team with fellow fans. Don't miss the excitement. Hey, you can even stop there after the air show. That starts today, goes through the weekend. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I think the Padres are actually playing for two things this weekend in Arizona. The first and most obvious is home field advantage in the wild card series. They will be playing a wild card series next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday if necessary. They can ensure that that series will be at Petco Park with 2 wins over the Diamondbacks or 1 win over the Diamondbacks plus 1 New York Mets loss in their final 5 games. That would assure the home games. That's tangibly what the Padres are playing for, and the sooner you can wrap it up, which is possible even tonight with a win and a Mets loss to the Brewers, you'll have more time to get some guys some rest, give some backups, some at-bats in the lineup, get your bullpen back of the bullpen guys in there, maybe call up a Matt Waldron to make another start, have everyone ready and rested and waiting for Tuesday, and whatever team is going to arrive, start scouting the possible opponents. Obviously, if it takes a little bit longer, you're probably going to have to use more of your starting pitching. They've already decided to use Yu Darvish tonight. Now, he's pitching on the normal 4 days rest, but they're going to try to go aggressively, win this first game with Darvish as he makes the start in the opener against Merrill Kelly at 6:40 tonight.
Yeah, Merrill Kelly he was injured, I think. He's back now, Ben. He's 5-0 with a 3.71. He's gotten a bit lucky.
I think he came out with a cramp after 5 innings in his last start, but I don't think it's something they expect to linger.
Why is he? He's only pitched.
Yeah,
he was injured.
He was injured for the first half of the season.
All right, so 12 games, 12 starts. He's throwing 3.71 ERA right now. Whips 113. I mean, pretty good, but gotten pretty lucky. It looks like. But he throws the whole kitchen sink at you. He's got about 5 pitches that he uses. He's cutter guy mostly. So cutter and changeup is kind of his bread and butter. Keep you off balance, and guys like that. The thing about this team, man, Walker Buehler actually pitched pretty well last night. I do feel like we missed some opportunities on him early. But once he got locked in, I mean, they said his ERA was like 7 in the first inning, and of course we didn't get to him in the first.
He struck out one batter.
One batter.
He's not Walker Buehler
That's
anymore.
right.
Padres hit some atom balls. Padres missed some fatter pitches. That kind of brings me to the second thing the Padres are playing for this weekend.
Get it on track.
That is getting on track. Not that they're totally off track. I refuse to say a team that has won 9 of their last 12 games is off track, but clearly the offense has not been as productive as it was a few weeks ago. They haven't scored more than 4 runs in a game more than once in the last 10 games.
Runners in scoring position has been devastatingly bad.
One thing I would love to see over these next 3 days in a pretty good hitter's ballpark in Arizona against a pitching staff that has been pretty bad most of the season. I know Kelly's good, but overall the Diamondbacks have won with offense, not with defense. Get some of the little confidence at the plate. Get some guys going. In particular, I keep saying sit Arise, rest him. I want to see Arise go out there and get going this weekend. If he says, I'm healthy enough to go out there, I want to see him go out there, get some hits, feel good going into Tuesday's playoff opener. The more good feelings you can get at the plate, that's what I'm playing for this weekend if I'm the San Diego Padres
100%,
as well.
No doubt.
The Padres have gone just TBA for their next 2 starts. So totally depends on what happens tonight with their game and the Mets game with what they'll probably do from a pitching standpoint the final 2 days. The Diamondbacks have Eduardo Rodriguez scheduled for tomorrow. He has been a very disappointing big money signing after they signed him as a free agent from the Tigers in the offseason. And Brandon Pfaadt, who was banged around pretty badly in his last start by the Giants, I think that was that 11-1 game that they lost. He is going to start on Sunday, assuming those games are important for the Diamondbacks as well.
These cats playing for their lives, though, right?
They are.
Yeah.
They are 1 game ahead of the Braves. They are tied with the Mets, and only 2 of those 3 teams will join the Padres in the playoffs. So
Fighting for their lives.
These are playoff games, essentially, for the Diamondbacks. They probably think we need to at least win this series to get in.
Yep.
And that is probably what their target is. Padres, of course, need to win at least 1, or the Diamondbacks will catch them and will have the tiebreaker, and the Padres won't be able to host in the first round. So you have to win at least 1. One Mets loss in 5 games would get it done, or just win 2, and then no one can catch you at all.
Yep.
In these last 3.
Again, future is in your hands. You control your own destiny. Don't need any help at all, really. If you just go out and win your ball games, you're fine.
Correct.
Which is a good thing. It's a good position to be in. A little help would be nice. Haven't really gotten a ton these last few weeks, but go out and handle business. You don't have to worry about it.
The rest of the matchups today in baseball that you might be interested in. Obviously, I mentioned the Mets are in Milwaukee. That is Sean Manaea on the mound against Frankie Montas. That's a 5-10 start. The Atlanta Braves are at home against the Kansas City Royals. The Royals' magic number to clinch a playoff spot is 1. Brady Singer on the mound against Max Fried in that game. And there's also one other subplot here, and that is the race for the number 1 seed in the National League. And if you even want to be the number 1 seed in the National League. The Dodgers currently lead the Phillies by a game, but the Phillies have the tiebreaker. So if they finished even at the end, Philly would be the 1 seed. The 1 seed will play the winner of the 4-5 series, which is what we're hoping the Padres are in. So if you're the 1 seed, you're waiting on either the Padres or their opponent. If you're the 2 seed, you're waiting on either the Brewers or the 6 seed in the second round. So some think maybe the 2 seed is a better spot to be over these last 3 games and not the 1 seed, even though you'd be giving up home field advantage potentially in the National League Championship Series. The Dodgers finish with 3, of course, in Coors Field against the Rockies. The Philadelphia Phillies finish with 3 in Washington against the Nationals. So both playing last-place teams.
Yeah. Who wants it?
I mean, if the Dodgers drop 1, the Phillies can take the 1 seed. Do they want to take the 1 seed?
Yeah, of course. I think you do.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do.
I don't think you play those games. I don't think you ever even.
You don't play those games.
It's a dangerous game.
You don't. But you don't go all out to try to win the 1 seed.
You go all out to win a baseball game every time.
Like you don't. You start. You Like
if there's something to play for.
If there's something to play for, you go. You try to win a game.
Okay, but I think your definition of this has got to be, yeah. If you've got Aaron Nola pitching, and you can because you're going to have a bye,
right?
You're not necessarily going, hey, we need 125 pitches out of you to make sure we win this game.
You wouldn't do that anyway.
Well, if you're going all out, if it's a playoff game, you might.
We're right, which it's not a playoff.
So
game.
you're not playing it like it's a playoff game to win the 1 seed.
No, but I'm also not playing it like I hope we kind of lose this game.
No,
you just never play that game of like.
But you're more than willing to use some backups. And,
Garrett Stubbs should see some action. Right.
In that sense, I don't think either team is going to go all out for the 1 seed, knowing might actually be a harder road to get to the World Series of the 1 versus the 2.
And honestly, I mean, if you're the Phillies or the Dodgers and you're playing that game, that's actually kind of pathetic because you're the 2 best teams. So the way I would roll is like, I think we're the best team. I don't care who we play. That's just how, like, that's the mentality you have to have, not like, oh, God, I hope we get the Brewers. Like, I just don't think you can play that because...
And maybe the Brewers are the team that ends up the hottest of anyone.
And winning it all. And think about last year. The 84-win wild card Diamondbacks beat the Dodgers. Then think about the year before. The little brother Padres go in and beat the Dodgers. So, I mean, I just don't think you mess around at all. I think you just go, you play your hardest, play your best. You can obviously rest guys and get guys off their feet, which is normal behavior, but I just don't think you play the game of like, I kind of hope we fall to the 2. I mean, you start hoping you fall somewhere. It's probably a mentality you don't want.
All right, it's been a while, as you said. I think we missed it the last couple of weeks, so let's finish up with about 90 seconds of things Ben likes. I like the tanginess of the cranberry. I like reflecting. I like old-time rock and roll, too. You know I do. I like NIL. I like my standard, very uninteresting haircut. I do like hearing people talk about how well it's going for the Padres. I like numbers. Oh, I like the bits. I like to be educational. I like when I get up, have a glass of cranberry juice cocktail. I like Adam Major. I do like butterscotch. I like your tweets a lot. I still like this deal. I like to live my life after another famous Benjamin Button. I like when the Padres take 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. I would have liked to have tried something else. I like Darren. I've always liked Darren. I like watching LeBron and Anthony Davis. Sex by the fire at night, that's what I like. Yeah. I like Jake Cronenworth. The last couple of days, I've really liked his swings. I do like horses. I like the Padres lineup. I like when things just flow perfectly. But I like Indian food. I just like a good, honest answer. I've liked what I've seen from Donovan Solano so far. I like that idea. I like 18 games in 18 days. I like where the Padres are. I like that we won as a team.
I do
all
too.
of us together. I like to picture people actually in a recording studio. I like the way the Padres play baseball. What I like is the variety of the wins.
Yeah.
I liked everything about this week. I did like everything about this week. We had a good week here on
We
Ben
did.
Woods.
Yeah, it was a fun one.
We had a lot of fun.
Hoping for a great week next week.
Obviously, we had a clinching
elite.
celebration.
Yeah.
It didn't finish exactly the way we wanted to as Padres fans.
In the
but
playoffs, though.
This show, we had Trevor Hoffman on today.
It's great.
I like
Always
that.
great. Yeah, I like that too.
If you missed it, you can always catch it on our various podcasts and go back on the YouTube stream or the Odyssey app. And don't forget, Annie and Elston coming up. They're going to have Brandon Lockridge on the program today. Get to know someone who might play a pivotal role coming off the bench as a pinch runner for the Padres in the postseason, defensive replacement. And then Mike Schilt, the manager's report. A little delayed today, but with Tony and Matt Scraby this afternoon on that program as Tony joins you from Arizona before Game 1 of the 3-game series against the Diamondbacks.
Hoping for a good week next week. Before we get to next week, though, now if I tell you this, you promise not to curse. You almost had a slip up.
I did. I check swing on an F-bomb.
You got a little more production to do
today.
Yeah.
After the one I already have.
Yeah. If you're new to the program, Woodsy loves nothing more than Friday.
Who sent it over?
Production.
What sales rep? Should I guess or do I know the answer?
Throw me the roach before the show ends.
Yeah, where is that?
It's right here. You guys forgot to kiss it yesterday.
I don't think we did.
Hurry. Time's running out. 15 seconds. 15, 14. Got it. We're all in.
I came back and kissed it.
Is it the sales rep? I think it is.
If they win,
no.
Okay.
The roach is all powerful. We'll talk to you Monday morning, 6 a.m., right here on 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.